Hearing that, Professor Bai knitted his brows and shot back. Wow, you guys seem incredibly desperate to get back to dry land. Old Yi cut in. Since we hit the sea first, we took the least heat during those apocalyptic years. But, let's just say some creepy side effects started popping up. Before anyone could ask, Old Ye pressed on. Like a curse that turns humans into something completely different. The professor gasped, totally stunned. Wait, are you saying your people are going through some kind of freakish mutation? Xinjiang quickly cut him off to pivot the conversation. Look, when it comes to this partnership proposal, Qinggang has already shown more than enough goodwill. Old Yi scoffed. Not even close. If we actually return and merge with the Alliance or even take over Qinggang, things are bound to get ugly and corrupt. Let's face it, everyone's got a selfish agenda here. So, I'm choosing a different kind of deal. His eyes turned stone cold, dripping with absolute ambition. The maritime nation is taking over everything Qinggang owns. Xinjiang's face darkened with absolute rage. So, this whole chaotic mess tearing up our city right now was engineered by you guys from the start. Suddenly, the screen shows the entire city surrounded by military helicopters and heavily armed soldiers. Above them, the deafening roar of choppers drowns out Old Ye's cold, final declaration, "This is war." The camera cuts back to Lu Xin's location, where his radio is static charging with endless frantic chatter. We can't round up any more of these infected freaks on short notice. So here's our two-step plan. First, brace yourselves and get ready to handle a massive, city-wide psychic outbreak. The Defense Department has already set up the perimeter. Second, we need to sniff out the worst threats these freaks pose and neutralize them first. Soldier, you're the only one who can see their psychic distortions, so we need you leading the charge. Lu Xin's eyes went cold and determined as he muttered, "Got it, let's touch down first." Out of nowhere, a tiny hand reached out and grabbed his arm. He spun around instantly and saw Wawa. Staring at her, he thought, wait, is she scared of heights? No, that can't be right. The first time we met, she literally jumped off a massive building. How could someone like that be scared of heights? Shaking off the thought, he stared down at the swarming crowd below. Actually, that's the least of my worries right now. The real question is, what kind of twisted mutations are these psychically infected people going to turn into? Before him, nightmarish monsters clung to every single infected person. He whispered to himself, to me, they already look like freaky abominations. Yet they're still crying, terrified, desperately clinging to whatever's left of their humanity. What happens when the mutation fully takes over? They didn't have powers before, so who gave them this energy? And what is their game plan? The scene cuts back to Minister Shen's command room. The minister growled, "What are the odds we put this guy down instantly?" His assistant quickly replied, "3 heavy snipers are locked on him. We've loaded 1 live round, 1 knockout dart, and 1 special grade bullet. All shooters have clear lines of sight and guaranteed hits, but since this target is an S-rank Esper, normal physics might not apply to him at all." Scanning the monitors, the assistant added, "Plus, we've got 3 Spec Ops squads already inside the conference room ready to lock down the area. They're packing heavy gear specifically designed to neutralize Espers. On top of that, Watchdog is in position, covering both the interior and exterior of the room. He can shut the target down in a split second, but honestly, the guy is S-class. None of us actually know if our weapons can scratch him." The commander scowled and immediately began barking out orders. "Get Chief Su and Professor Bai out of that room right now." Decisive as ever, his mind instantly jumped to their heaviest heavy artillery. "Adjust the angle of the main city cannon. Aim it straight at the Donghai Hotel." The assistant quickly nodded. "Yes, sir," and scrambled to execute the command. Over in the conference room, a guard slipped in and whispered, "Chief Su, we need you to evacuate immediately." But Xinjiang had no intention of backing down. He turned and replied coolly, "No rush. First, run a sweep to see if our security was breached earlier and patch it up immediately." With that settled, he turned back to the old man with a cold smirk. "Old Ye, you're a sharp guy, and honestly, I'd love to grab a beer with you. But when it comes to keeping Qinggang safe, my hands are tied. I don't care how much faith you've got in S-class anomalies. Sure, Qinggang respects raw power, but we're not about to roll over and let you trash our city." Before anyone could process, his voice turned sharp and final. "If you really want to drag us into a war, fine. But Qinggang is going to make you bleed for every single inch." He roared, "Take them down now," as every soldier in the room raised their weapons. Seeing this, Watchdog's eyes flashed with cold intensity. "No need for guns," he muttered, raising his hand as his crushing psychic force instantly flooded the entire room. The maritime agents began to panic, stammering, "What the hell is this heavy pressure?" Watchdog's psychic grip was absolute, locking them down so tight they couldn't even twitch. The crushing pressure kept building, squeezing them like a vice until it forced them straight to their knees. Screams are echoing everywhere. But right there, Old Man Yi is fighting like hell, grunting. "No way in hell am I kneeling." Even though he is totally wrecked, drenching in sweat, The stubborn old bastard refuses to back down, spitting out his words. Over my dead body. That is the one thing the old guy refuses to do. Hearing this, Xinjiang waves his hand, telling his watchdog guard to back off and stop messing with the old man. Then he turns to Shen Ming, ordering his crew to lock down the S-Rank Esper. But get this, the guy does not even flinch, just staring back with this icy, deadpan face. Behind them, a soldier nudges. Mr. 2, you gotta move. Tu ignores him, completely blanking the soldier. He is thinking, damn, why is this guy not fighting back at all? He turns to Old Man Ye and demands, all right, so what is your actual game plan here? The old man plays nice for once, spilling the beans. Look, this kid was born back in our Haishang nation, and honestly, his psychic power level is actually pretty low. It is not even 1,000, but his abilities? Absolutely terrifying. He cleaned up some of the worst psychic disasters in Haishang like it was nothing. At first, we wanted to groom him to be our ultimate guardian angel, but then a massive glitch popped up, and we could not fix it. As he says this, his face goes totally weird, looking almost spooked. But nobody notices, and Old Man Yi just keeps talking. The kid has zero will to live. All he wants is to end it. He claims that only by dying can his soul finally return to his real home, wherever the hell that is. Hearing this, Professor Bai frowns, totally baffled. His real home? What does that mean? Looking pretty stressed now, Old Man Ye keeps going. We tried every trick in the book, but we could not convince this kid to stay alive. Plus, forcing a miserable kid to stay alive just to suffer? That felt pretty messed up and unethical, you know? So, the best we could do was steer him to a specific spot to end his life. At least that way, he serves our nation. Xinjiang narrows his eyes, highly skeptical. And what about you? Planning to die here too? Old Man Yi just waves his hand to dismiss it. Just look at me. I cannot even enjoy a smoke from my favorite pipe anymore. Is my miserable life even worth a dime? Besides, this war was bound to pop off sooner or later anyway. I only showed up to see my masterpiece with my own eyes. Just wanted to watch the show. He says it with absolute certainty, a real, living god. But nobody noticed the S-Rank Esper's arm was already mutating. Just as Old Man Yi finishes asking what this god will look like, Shen Ming suddenly speaks up. Can I take this off now? A crazy wave of energy starts exploding all around him, and it is absolutely massive. Seeing things go sideways, the soldiers panic. Mr. 2, Professor Bai, you have to get out of here right now. They grab both men by the arms, dragging them away. Meanwhile, the watchdog stays behind, raising his hands to forcefully shut down Shen Ming. The troops lock and load, fast. But Shen Ming is not backing down. He unleashes his power, a massive aura swirling around him while his eyes burn like pure fire. Thinking they are evenly matched, the watchdog mocks him. What? Got knocked out by the collar's electric shock already? And indeed, the S-Rank psychic drops straight to the floor. But before he can even celebrate, the watchdog freezes, his eyes popping out in pure terror. He sees something horrifying and gasps, "What the hell?" Right in front of him, the S-Rank mutant is not dead. Instead, a grotesque monster rips out of his body. It balloons into a massive beast, roaring with laughter. Below, the soldiers blast it with special energy weapons, but the monster does not even feel it. Outside, a massive crowd is already gathering, totally clueless. Lu Xin steps out of the car while OOA stays inside, staring up in absolute shock. He gasps, "What on earth is that thing?" Over the high-rises, a creepy red fog starts bubbling up, taking shape. The mist quickly molds into Shen Ming's massive form. He slams his hands down as the psychic detectors go absolutely haywire. A voice barks over the radio, "Everyone, get ready." Chen Qing barks out orders. "Max out our containment and control protocols right now. Alert Special Ops and the Defense Department immediately. Get me a live feed to the intel analysts I need, tactical solutions, and a full breakdown of this situation right now. 300 meters underground, inside a bunker, a voice crackles. Send a team to interrogate the old captain right now. Use any means necessary to find out what he is plotting." To Xinjiang loses his mind, cursing, "Damn it, those useless, brainless idiots." Professor Bai, sitting right across from him, stays totally chill. "Calm down. A disaster was bound to happen eventually. Honestly, this is just the ultimate test for all the prep work we did." Inside the war room, someone yells over the noise, "Are ion cannons 1, 4, and 7 primed and ready to fire?" An analyst yells, "The psychic beast is closing in on the hotel. Its energy level is skyrocketing. It started at 1,000, jumped to 3,000. Now it is at 7,000. It is about to break 10,000. Minister Shen grunts, "How is it scaling so fast?" He snaps, "Give me the exact payload of ion cannons we need to vaporize this thing." An operator replies, "The energy is drawing from the atmosphere. It must be linked to that captured psychic. Theoretically, 10 ion units should do it." Minister Shen grimaces. "Make it 12 units then, just to be safe." He stares at the screen, thinking, so humanity is finally seeing these monsters face to face. A sudden weird wave of anxiety starts creeping into his chest. The phone on the desk buzzes, and Professor Bai's voice comes through. The Haishang invasion has officially kicked off. Turns out, those bastards have been planning this whole thing for over a month now. And now, mutants are popping up all over the city. Minister Shen frowns, baffled. Wait, we locked down almost all known mutants in the quarantine zone. So what the hell is that massive red demon out there? Professor Bai sighs. You can see it too? That is the Haishang S-Rank psychic. He actually killed himself to unleash it. How do you plan to drop it? Shen replies. Simple. High-frequency ion cannons. We blast him twice and see if he pops. Professor Bai snaps. Forget about it. Standard special ops tactics will not work on this thing. We do not even understand how its power works. Too many wildcards. Minister Shen grunts. What if we overclock the system and prep 20 units? Bai shakes his head. Do not go nuclear yet. The enemy knows Qinggang's defenses inside out, so they will not leave us an easy opening. Let us wait for the interrogation intel first, then execute my emergency defense plan. Shen sighs and agrees. He hangs up, looking tense. Guys, I still have a bad feeling about this. Let us crank the high-frequency ion cannons up to 12, no, make it 20 units, and keep them primed to overclock at a moment's notice. Emergency sirens and loudspeakers start blaring from the rooftops. Evacuate to the nearest fallout shelter immediately. People are losing their minds, some even leaping off balconies in pure panic. The defense squads rush in, desperately corralling civilians into safe zones. Over at the East City ruins, inside the quarantine zone, a radio crackles. Soldier, give me a status report on Sector 4. Lu Xin stares at the infected crowd, his voice tight. Guys, these mutants, they have got literal psychic parasites growing right out of their bodies. He adds, thankfully, these bugs are pretty weak. Their threat level is barely double digits, maybe even less. Lu Xin looks down at the pile of bodies, horrified. If we kill the hosts, those parasites do not die. They merge together. And when they combine, their psychic power stacks infinitely. There is no limit. Chen Qing's eyes widen. So putting them down only fast-tracks the mega monsters. Attention all units. Hold your fire. Use tranks or non-lethal rounds only. Intel team, do we have a read on this yet? Analysts clack away furiously on their keyboards. We got it. The captain's confession is in file number 1, and we just pulled the cosmic coordinates of that hometown from Satellite 4. Combat reports are sorted and sent, and Professor Bai's full diagnostic is on your screen now. Read up. Someone on the comms says this all went down way too fast. We know Jack about this S-class Esper from the Maritime State, but we got a lead on the true homeland. The other guy asks, how did those homeland weirdos show up and hijack 2 mental monsters to wreck people? Where did those 2 monsters even come from? Is there another dimension? Just then, someone reports they got a signal from Professor Bai. He says, I heard your analysis. Interesting theory, but I think it is just a concept. To Xinjiang curses, damn it, those scumbags. Professor Bai continues, our past intel showed those missionary monsters get triggered by bad vibes. They must come from deep within. That so-called true homeland is basically just a giant ocean of the collective unconscious. Director Chen speaks up. By that logic, either the Maritime State's S-class Esper or anyone tied to the true homeland can summon them. They rip open a crack, connect to that mental monster hell, and drag them over. Professor Bai says there is a clear link between these mental monsters and S-class Espers. They know how to breed them and want to wreck this city. Pacts and curses are the bait that lures them, triggered by death. He warns that once all these scattered mind monsters show up, they will turn this place into a total ghost town. The Esper can use this moment to boost their mental power to the limit. This is a coordinated cover operation. To Xinjiang says, seriously, we have 5 minutes to verify and make a call. Right now, Espers and special forces everywhere are waiting on your analysis. The defense team is already locked and loaded, ready to fight. Lu Xin thinks more and more people are losing it. Wawa sees him upset and gets grumpy too. Suddenly, the comms buzz as the analysis team patches through. A voice asks, is the soldier there? Lu Xin replies, I am here. A polite voice says, good evening, soldier. He replies, good evening. Before he can say more, Han Bing cuts in, saying the soldier is being assigned a vital task. It is a shame we cannot meet. But we need to handle this contamination attack first. Once this is over, hopefully we can. She hesitates, then asks if she can treat him to a home-cooked meal in 10 days. Lu Xin glances back at Wawa, letting out an okay. Han Bing continues, after all, since we are in the main city, I should play the good host. Hearing that, he agrees. Sure. Wawa sees Lu Xin smile and cheers up too. Chen Qing speaks up. All right, let's talk about dinner later. The analysis team has their proposals, and the operation is officially live. Soldier, I need you to execute a mission. The mission is to ask Doll B to make a move, which surprises Lu Xin. Chen Qing says, the Maritime State has secretly created a massive number of mutants. When their S-class Esper triggers them, the monsters inside will wake up, run wild, and infect everyone. It is a major threat. She continues. The task now is to clear the mutants in the quarantine zone and destroy the mental monsters. Doll B can lock down the scene, but we are not sure she will understand the request. So I need you to explain it to her. Hearing this, he turns to Wawa and asks, "Can you control these people so they do not run wild?" Lu Xin worries she does not get it, so he explains further. Right now, there are tons of monsters inside them. They are merging and growing bigger. Can you destroy them? Wawa replies, "I can." Chen Qing is shocked. Dolby actually answered the soldier? She quickly orders, "Special forces and backup. Evacuate immediately." Lu Xin takes the order and says, "All right, let's do this." Wawa grabs her umbrella and floats up high. Eye-like objects appear around her. Her eyes snap open, and the flower in her hair begins to play eerie music. The crowd possessed by the mental monsters suddenly stops in their tracks. They look like they are trying to reach out for something. Lu Xin mutters, "So quiet." They really did stop. The illusion of the deity controlling them from the side suddenly shatters. The mental monsters clinging to the crowd below start linking together. Lu Xin sees this and yells, "Oh no!" He tells himself, "They are rushing doll B. I have to protect her." Wawa is not scared at all. She floats away, baiting them to chase her. Lu Xin realizes she is trying to lure them away to protect him. He smiles. This teammate is awesome, way better than Gecko. Wawa folds her umbrella and points the tip at the oncoming mental monsters. Calmly, she snaps it open, blasting them away in one shot. The mental monsters take a massive hit and quickly dissolve into nothing. Lu Xin is stunned. Just like that? With this many monsters, even a top-tier psychic would have taken way longer. He wonders, a quick fold and open, and it is over? Lu Xin watches Wawa float and thinks she probably gathered mental energy and released it by opening the umbrella. Even though she is smiling sweetly now, I saw that brutal move. She is seriously tough. Chen Qing praises, "Great job, Doll B soldier. Make sure there are no mutants left in the zone." He looks into the distance and replies. Scene cuts to the subway, 300 meters underground. Minister Shen asks, "Why not let Doll B handle the monsters?" Professor Bai says, "I think we should not let Doll B out, for the same reasons we cannot use the plasma gun." He says, "Its mental level has exceeded 20,000, almost 30,000. To Xinjiang wonders, mental power does not just come out of thin air. How is it so high?" Professor Bai replies, "Reports say when the monster approaches, it powers up. It seems its ability is to devour other minds. Just looking at it drains your mental energy. That 30,000 power comes from monsters and people who saw it." He says, "This ability is similar to Doll B's, but it is stealing, not borrowing. If a strong psychic like Doll B attacks it, they will get swallowed instead, spreading the pollution. It is a dirty trick." Tu Xinzong adds, "There is another nasty part. Even if we clear the pollution, a huge crowd of people will have their minds swallowed and sink into depression. The result would likely be," Minister Shen quickly gets it and yells, "a massive crowd of citizens, even the military, committing mass suicide? Bastards." Professor Bai speaks up. "The analysis team's data confirms my theory. Since things have gotten this bad, I am officially declaring it." He continues, "Activate the emergency defense plan." Meanwhile, Lu Xin says, "Hey boss, you are here." Chen Qing walks her over, thinking about the recommendation to keep Doll B out of it. This is the first time the soldier is not sure about facing a monster. Lu Xin thinks, "I do not feel in danger, but charging in might end badly." In the distance, a convoy with bright headlights rushes over. A pair of legs and sharp leather shoes steps out of the car. Minister Shen's group and the professor walk up. Tu Xinzong waves, saying, "Hey, hello." Chen Qing wonders, why did those three show up together? Professor Bai shakes hands with Lu Xin. "Hello, soldier. I am Bai, director of the Special Cleanup Research Institute." Lu Xin greets him back, chuckling. Is this the famous quote guy? But what he says next shocks Lu Xin. That mental monster. "If we let you let loose and do whatever you want, are you sure you can handle it?" He continues, "In 10 minutes we have to face a monster with a mental level over 60,000, causing massive damage." Professor Bai's words leave Lu Xin frozen. "We are starting your Stage 2 enhancement right now." Lu Xin stands there, shocked. Stage 2? Suddenly? Right here? We do not even have a bed. Professor Bai explains that Stage 2 is basically about buffing up and stabilizing a psychic before we send them out. A psychic usually gotta get sliced open for reconstructive surgery just to keep their nervous system stable. The whole point of the surgery is to keep psychics from snapping under massive mental pressure. But as Professor Bai points right at you, you are a whole different beast. Your baseline mental power is already off the charts. For a guy like you, mastering your crazy emotions is the real core of Stage 2. So, I am not going to put you through the usual drill, like therapy or reconstructive surgery. Instead, we are trying a brand new method. It is incredibly brutal, and honestly, it costs a massive fortune. He looks at him and says, before we pull the trigger on this, I have got one final serious question for you, soldier. Are you absolutely sure you want to go through with stage 2? Hearing that, Lu Xin freezes. The professor pulls out a contract, telling him to sign it first. Lu Xin feels totally helpless. I already got myself mentally prepared for this, and now you want me to sign a paper? He picks up the contract to read it. Is this really it? He thinks to himself, I don't even get to ask questions. Chen Qing would handle this way more professionally. Lu Xin signs the contract, hands it over to Professor Bai, and stuffs his copy into his jacket. So, is that it? The professor replies, all good. He wonders, what is this new method you mentioned? The old man answers, remember that painting you brought back from the night order outside the city? Spiritual parasites in this world can hijack human mental energy, and they act a lot like humans or active pollution sources. Professor Bai explains that the painting is called The Gaze of the Red Moon, and it belongs to one of the rarest high-level spiritual parasites out there. According to the Alliance's research files, there are a grand total of 13 high-level parasitic items, holding 13 of the most twisted and abnormal mental powers in existence. He continues, it completely scrambles human emotions. Just one single look can turn a normal person into a savage monster that only lives to unleash its raw, primal desires. So, this painting alone can easily trigger absolute mass chaos. Those 13 abnormal forces are terrifying, especially the gaze, but that doesn't mean we can't find a smart way to harness and exploit them. Professor Bai pulls out a small box. Your Stage 2 upgrade will borrow the gaze's raw power. Based on my analysis, the core trait of the gaze is using extreme positive emotions to devour people alive. So, I managed to reverse its crazy effects. As Lu Xin slips the glasses on, the professor explains that besides transmitting real-time data and helping him coordinate tough missions, the device itself possesses some highly unique psychic properties. It can bring you back to a perfect equilibrium whenever your raw emotions start swinging wild. To put it simply, wearing this means you won't lose your damn mind even when you get hit with brutal emotional attacks. Of course, truly unlocking Stage 2 won't happen overnight. You still need time to get used to it, but having this makes a world of difference. You will officially enter Stage 2. Lu Xin stares intently at the glowing glasses, his own eyes shining bright. As the frames radiate a mysterious, pulse-like energy, he wonders if wearing a simple pair of specs can really help him maintain his emotional stability. Right at that moment, an ear-splitting red alert blares. The red-robed apostle has launched another brutal attack. Professor Bai speaks up again. We've got 2 minutes to execute the Stage 2 upgrade. We don't just need to trust that our psychic won't lose control, we also need the psychic to trust us. We believe in the request you submitted, which is why we built this special item. Now, the game plan is on the table, but the final play is entirely up to you. Lu Xin turns to Wawa and asks, you guys really choose to trust me? He scans the room, looking at everyone. Aren't you afraid I am just a complete psychopath? Minister Shen hands him a gun and a heavy bag of ammo. Even if you are a maniac. He opens the ammo bag and finds custom special rounds. The minister continues, I've always kept my guard up around you guys, but I also know, and have to admit, that our city has always been protected by absolute lunatics. He turns and asks, once I pull off this mission, will I get enough cash to finally buy a house? Chen Qing replies from behind, I guarantee you it's more than enough. Slapping the glasses on and gripping his gun, he says, go ahead, brief me on the mission details. Objective, purge the spiritual entity of the CS-class psychic in the maritime state and wipe out its residual effects. Risk level, CS. Executor, soldier, intel analyst and support staff, Han Bing. Han Bing, the support analyst, adds, assisting team members, soldier and doll, I've received the data. The beautiful Han Bing speaks into the earpiece. Mr. Soldier, are you ready to roll? He answers, all set. Lu Xin lets out a long, heavy sigh. The glasses voice alert, retinal scan complete, system synchronization initiating. Lu Xin narrows his eyes, feeling something's off. Suddenly, he is dragged into an eerie, dark realm, and his consciousness slowly slips away. He snaps his eyes wide open as a voice crackles through the glasses. Mr. Soldier, can you hear me clearly? Adjusting the specs, Lu Xin tells Han Bing, oh, so these things also double as a headset? That is pretty high-tech. All right, time for me to get to work. She looks worried, but he firmly tells her, wait for me right here. I'll be back in a bit, and don't you dare pretend you didn't hear me. He walks away, turning back to wave goodbye to the tearful, crying Wawa. Meanwhile, a swarm of monsters is closing in to attack the children. Gripping his gun, Lu Xin mutters, can I really take down a psychic monster like that? As he sprints, Han Bing speaks through the comms. Of course it's tough, he replies. But can I really just let loose with zero worries, now that Stage 2 is finally active? My whole family had to go into hiding, but now that Stage 2 is complete, there is absolutely nothing left to hold me back, right? Suddenly, a white-haired girl giggles. Hey, big bro! 17 floats down, stretching out both arms towards him. I'm back! Lu Xin is thrilled to see little 17 again. Sis! Then, his mother appears, staring at the glasses. Walking closer, she says, they look great on you. She adds, now that you've reached stage 2, you need to start mending your relationship with him. We're all family, after all. But if they're constantly on guard against us, we have to stay alert too. Lu Xin murmurs, all right then. Nodding in understanding, he walks into the building with his mother and 17. It's been a few days since we last met. With both of you here, I feel way more at peace. It's just that right now there's a quick matter I need to handle. Watching this unfold on screen, Minister Shen snaps in anger. You lying bastard? He points aggressively at the glowing monitor. Didn't you claim his family doesn't actually exist? You literally said that once he got a grip on his powers and completed stage 2, they would completely vanish. Then who are those two girls on screen? The older and the younger one? Chen Qing chimes in next. We can't let this slide next time. But Professor Bai rejects the scammer label. He adjusts his glasses frame. Everything I said was just a logical hypothesis based on current facts. Of course, since it's an estimate, minor deviations are bound to happen. Meanwhile, the deeper Lu Xin goes, the more colossal psychic energy he can feel pressing down on him. He thinks to himself, the closer he gets, the more he can feel the red-robed apostle's twisted, colossal psychic energy. Right in front of him stands a massive army of thousands of distorted, freakish monsters, and towering behind them is their god, a giant red-cloaked monster that is not going to be easy to handle. Worse, it keeps growing even larger as other spiritual beasts merge into its body. Seeing 17 clinging tightly to him, he asks, Hey, can you back off a bit? The little girl pouts. I don't want to. He puts her down, getting dead serious. Look, this isn't about protecting you right now. We need to get to work. That thing is just too massive. Then can I just contaminate its entire body like I did before? The little girl grabs onto his hand, looking up completely innocent. Do you want to lend me your power? He pats 17's head. Who says anything about borrowing, kiddo? 17 jumps with joy. Deal. He thinks to himself, I can still feel a deep connection between my sister and me. It feels like a part of my own soul is flowing right into her. 17 flies into the air, giggling with pure delight. Hee, she quickly charges straight ahead. That giant red doll is so cute. Meanwhile, down below, Lu Xin and his mother enter the building. Under 17's aggressive assault, the god instantly unleashes its evil energy to counterattack. She strikes back with pure psychic power, even as her own arms crack into pieces. Releasing her seals, 17 stretches her body into a massive net, wrapping completely around him. The little sis gets totally blasted back by that god freak, but her shattered body slowly glues itself back together. 17 hits the dirt, totally pouting like, no way. Lu Xin watches his sister struggle, realizing she is clean out of moves against this monster. Mom laughs and says she is still just a kid, teasing him for enjoying her epic fail. They step into the elevator, heading up first. The elevator shoots up to floor 34. Inside Lu Xin's earpiece, Han Bing is buzzing. Soldier, can you hear me? He answers, loud and clear. Just got off the elevator. The signal went dead because I got way too close to that monster. Han Bing just face palms, thinking, who rides an elevator during an apocalypse anyway? He and Mom hit the rooftop. He looks up at the giant god beast, saying, my biggest question right now is what exactly makes this red apostle tick? Just now, I noticed it has insane resistance to all other forms of spiritual corruption. It got slightly infected, but then it regenerated almost instantly. Over the radio, Han Bing sounds totally shocked. What? Spiritual monsters can actually get infected too? Hold on a sec. I'm forwarding the analysis from Professor Bai to you right now. Spiritual monsters can actually get corrupted too, which means the corrupting force must have a much higher quality or power. But when the target's spiritual energy level is strong enough, it can totally fight back against the corruption, keeping itself stable by constantly healing and kicking out that toxic power. Lu Xin continues. So that's why my little sister is clean out of moves against this beast? Got any ideas, Mom? Mom tells him they can spot a ton of issues, but the most important thing is, she giggles, covering her mouth. They probably heard your voice talking to me just now, you know. Lu Xin shrugs. Let them listen if they want. My family is totally real anyway. Mom remarks. This guy is a total trip. He is alive, but clearly doesn't want to live. Some people might think he is suicidal because he is in too much pain and wants an easy way out. But why not see it this way? He wanted to die all along. Only by checking out can he finally release all that toxic negative energy, right? Lu Xin starts connecting the dots. Wait, during my previous training, Han Bing told me that spiritual power is a positive force. But if this guy wants to die, he is the exact opposite of positive. Does that mean he has the unique ability to feed on and drain everyone else's energy? Lu Xin has a massive realization, staring straight at the god beast. He suddenly spots a gazillion red threads, packed super tight together, woven into this gigantic, creepy spiritual entity. One of those red threads is hooked straight to him, literally feeding off his body. After sizing up the situation, Lu Xin asks, "Mom, can you bail me out?" She answers him softly, "We are family, so don't even talk about helping, but once we squash this problem, another is gonna pop up." Hearing that, Lu Xin flashes a dark grin and says, "Let's take them down one by one." Under the blood-red sky and dark moon, she flicks her hand, snipping the red thread burrowed deep inside him. The moment that thread snaps, Lu Xin spreads his arms and takes a breath, feeling insanely light. It is like the Red Apostle has suddenly lost all its weird, creepy hold over him. But wait. He looks down and sees his entire body is absolutely covered in red threads, and more are spawning by the second. Cutting just one is totally useless. Realizing they are in a real tight spot, his mom steps up, calmly waving her hand to slice through a whole bunch of them. "Whoops, I got a little too excited," she says to herself, stepping forward. Using her insane clone trick, Mom pops up all over the place, calmly slicing the red threads stretching across the entire city. With a whole squad of moms spawning at once, they completely surround the Red Apostle. Pausing the fight for a split second, she closes her eyes to charge up her power, then points her weapon straight up. Lu Xin watches in awe, feeling that her attack definitely did the trick, because every single red thread around the city seems to get sliced to pieces by his mom. Now, all the red threads trapping the citizens are cut, but those creepy spiritual monsters still refuse to let them go. "Live from the temporary command center, we lost the feed, we can't see it anymore," the broadcaster screams. Minister Shen points at the blank screen, totally shocked, shouting, "The Red Apostle is gone." Professor Bai stays dead chill, saying, "Everyone hold on, it is definitely not gone yet." He turns around to the crew, explaining, "We only cut the logical connection between us and the Red Apostle. Because of that, we are officially safe from further contamination. We cannot see it anymore, either." At the exact same time, its crazy spiritual power boost has also been totally shut down. But stopping that massive spiritual power boost triggers some major side effects, and here is the scariest part of all. Professor Bai continues, warning everyone that all those spiritual monsters it was controlling are now breaking loose and scattering everywhere. A voice crackles over the radio. "Urgent report. Those spiritual monsters that were swarming directly towards the Donghai Hotel have suddenly stopped gathering altogether. Now the monsters are scattering everywhere, with most of them heading west, probably drawn by the citizens in that area. It is finally time to test our skills against massive spiritual contamination. All special ops squads get out there right now and suppress them all." Minister Shen yells out the order and lock down the entire perimeter around Donghai Hotel immediately. Out in the city, terrified citizens are running for their lives as the monsters invade. Every single ability user must get into the quarantine zone and clear those freaks out. Send Class D personnel into the absolute worst hot zones. The squad quickly splits up to get the job done. Professor Bai looks over at Minister Shen, asking, "Wow, you had this whole backup plan ready to go?" "Yeah, but honestly," he says, "this setup was meant to handle those crazy ability users attending the Elite Summit." Meanwhile, Mom raises her hand and unleashes her power, glowing with a soft purple aura. A whole army of moms blocks the monster's attacks. And what's more, she keeps the monster's red threads from making any more connections with the city folk. But looking back at himself, Lu Xin asks, "Wait, how am I holding up?" Inside, a sudden wave of complete emptiness hits him. Ultimately, the only thing left on his mind is death. His eyes glaze over, completely blank, lost in that dark thought. With red threads swarming all around him, Lu Xin stands right in front of room 401. He mutters, "No backing out this time," and twists the doorknob. The door flies open, revealing a massive, terrifying shadow lurking inside. His dad, looking like a straight-up monstrous beast, towers over him. Lu Xin puts on a dead serious face and says, "This time, I actually need your help, Dad." His dad just bursts out laughing. He says, "Stop laughing like that, Dad. It makes me feel like trusting you was a massive mistake." His dad leans in, getting right in his face. Lu Xin replies, "Of course we are family, but I know that if you ever got the chance, you'd ditch this house in a heartbeat, and honestly, so would I. But in the end, you never got that chance, and I decided to finally accept my family. So why are we still keeping our guard up around each other?" He adds, "Let's find a better way to live together and help each other out, especially since we scored that key item for Phase 2 and got a major power boost, right?" Keeping a straight face, Lu Xin denies it, saying, "Nah, I only told you this because I trust you. The real reason I came looking for you is that every single time I get close to you, I can feel exactly what you're feeling. And what I sense from you isn't anger, Dad, it's pure agony." Hearing this, his eyes waver for a moment, filled with that deep pain of self-hatred, feeling totally helpless like a useless loser. Lu Xin's dad gets completely triggered, dark energy leaking off him as he roars, "You're full of crap. You're the loser here. You're a useless loser who doesn't know anything." That dark energy wraps tight around his neck, screaming, "You don't know a damn thing." Lu Xin wasn't about to back down. He snapped right back. "Sure, maybe I barely know anything since most of my memories are completely wiped, but I've thought about it, and I'm absolutely sure at least one thing about me is still real." He reached out to touch the water, declaring with absolute certainty, "My feelings are real." His dad's expression softened just a little. "So, I am really going to treat you like my actual family, Dad, and try to feel exactly what you feel. To take away your pain, if I ever get strong enough." Unlike his dad, Lu Xin's expression didn't budge at all. "Even if I can't do it, I'll still always try to do what real family is supposed to do for each other." "What about you, Dad?" "I am literally begging you right now, Dad. Can we please just be a real family? Are you going to agree with me on this, or are you just going to keep ruining the vibe for everyone in this house?" Not far off, Shen Ming's eyes flashed with a dangerous red gleam. Meanwhile, Lu Xin asked with deadly seriousness, "So, Dad, are you with me on this, or are you just going to keep tearing this family apart?" Every single word of their intense father-son conversation had been witnessed by his mom, his brother, and little sister 17. Suddenly, a massive, monstrous hand engulfed in blazing red fire slammed down. 17 screamed a warning, "Brother, watch out!" Reacting in a split second, a rough, powerful hand shot up to block that deadly crush. Lu Xin's dad instantly threw himself into a defensive stance, raising both hands to absorb the blow. Shoving back with all his might, he pushed the hand away and swore out loud. Holding his other wrist, Lu Xin's dad drew a massive blade and swung it back for momentum. With a savage, explosive strike, he sliced straight through, completely severing the giant arm. The severed giant arm lost all strength and tumbled down. 17 eagerly rushed over, chanting, "Big arm, yay!" She grabbed the falling arm, spun it around, and laughed. "Man, this is so much fun." Watching that crazy scene, both Lu Xin and his dad pointed their fingers and mocked him, saying, "What absolute trash." Seemingly triggered by their ruthless laughter, Shen Ming suddenly unleashed a terrifying wave of power that blasted everything around them to pieces. Standing amidst the smoking ruins, Lu Xin stood mockingly on a pillar with a smug grin. Right behind him, his dad seemed to unleash his true power, his body swelling to a monstrous size. He charged forward, hacking away with his giant blade while muttering, "Trash! Pure trash!" Each devastating slice was clean and brutal, severing Shen Ming's body parts one by one. "Trash, trash, you are absolute trash. Trash." Watching Shen Ming's sliced-up body parts rain down, Minister Chen Qing, and Su Zingsheng were completely paralyzed with shock. Su Zingsheng muttered in disbelief, "The Red Apostle is literally falling apart, so what the hell is that?" Professor Bai smirked and answered proudly, "That is my ultimate expectation for the soldier. It is called the Tyrant's Power." On this side, Lu Xin coldly unleashed his attack with his dad backing him up. Staring down at the severed flesh raining around him, he sighed in boredom, how incredibly dull. Suddenly, he froze. Seriously? He can regenerate automatically? His dad swung his massive blade back, aiming straight for Shen Ming's head, shouting, "Trash!" Then, he leapt into the air and sliced clean through Shen Ming's arm. But the arm that Lu Xin's dad had just sliced off instantly patched itself right back up. Utterly enraged by this, he kept hacking violently at the exact same spot, roaring, "Trash! Let's see just how long you can keep this stupid regeneration trick going." 17 gleefully dragged the fallen flesh chunks around, giggling, "Big brother is the best. He made so many toys for me." Watching from a high skyscraper, Lu Xin's mom sighed, "Well, that is downright brutal." Elsewhere, the watchdog guy was reporting his mission status through his earpiece, stating they were currently purging the mutated targets. This monster's mental power is going to be fused, so do not just focus on mindlessly killing it. Right behind him, 2 terrifying mental monsters were creeping up, ready to tear him apart. As one lunged, he suddenly whipped off his hat, revealing a horrifying mouth on his head. To actually deal with these creepy mental freaks, a long tongue shot out from that mouth, impaling the monsters behind him. "You either target the mental energy directly," he muttered to himself as more beasts swarmed, "or you just straight up wipe out the psychic user behind them. Besides, they actually taste pretty good. You should try some. Honestly, this city is crawling with way too many mental monsters lately." Got it. Over in another corner, a mysterious figure in a red robe sat on a wooden chair, having blasted away all the surrounding mutants and mental beasts. But he didn't find these monsters appetizing at all. Elsewhere, the ghost kid was also ready for action. "Seriously, can this stuff even taste good? Don't freak out, guys. Just do exactly what my uncle says." She smiled, reassuring the trembling crowd. "Everything is going to be fine. Oh, by the way, do you guys like shooting peas to keep everything hidden in the dark?" Suddenly, one of the guys snapped out of it, realizing the situation, and gasped, "Why has it morphed into this? Even the gun changed." "Just shoot. Use those special rounds. They're the peas in your hands. Yeah, if you handle it like this, it'll take a lot of the mental pressure off you guys." He flinched hard as the old man suddenly popped up next to him. Who even is this old guy? And seriously, the old man chimed in, you can even fake your death, pretty clever. Gecko snapped out of it, muttering, phew, glad that dead guy wasn't me, it was just a decoy. Speaking into his comms, he whined, Linda, my sweet Linda, I'm literally risking my life for our future. So can you grant me one last wish? Give me that high-tech drone of yours. Seriously, what is even going on? A kid is a kid. Are you really not going to let me raise them? Propping her legs up on the desk, she replied, if you're done clearing the mutants in that sector, you should start heading to the East Sea Hotel to assist the soldier. She continued, this is an S-rank mission to purge the spiritual entity of the maritime nation's psychic, and the soldier is the main executor. You and Doll are both on his squad, and since you've worked with him, you've got the experience. Gecko flopped down to rest, complaining, I already took out those weaklings, I just need a quick nap. Last time I worked with him went exactly like that. By the way, where is Doll from our squad? The other end remained completely silent. After a moment, she replied, Doll, we don't need you to step in just yet. Just stay put. Still entirely composed, she reported to Chen Qing, the mental beasts are being handled smoothly. We've got them completely locked down, making sure they don't escape past 3,000 meters. Right now, our only real concern is that we don't need to worry about the Red Apostle. If the soldier were in actual danger, Doll wouldn't be sitting this quietly. Su Xin slowly muttered, I really want to see how he pulls this off. No way. Absolutely not. Fine then. He flashed a sinister grin. In that case, patch me through to the old captain of the maritime nation. I want to see his face and slowly interrogate that old man myself. A voice echoed in the room. Do they seriously think Qinggang is some joke? Completely useless. Qinggang is going to lose. Elder Yi said, the only way to deal with these psychics is to have everything prepared beforehand. These gifted freaks can rewrite memories, perceptions, and even manipulate other people's minds. But the one thing they can never alter is objective reality. So, as long as we prep well and stick to basic logic, everything will play out exactly as it should. He continued, announce that this kid will sacrifice his life to bring the one and only chance of survival to the maritime nation. You girls do not need to worry, he continued. Those terrifying beasts from the abyss have already been successfully lured straight to Qinggang, proving we can use those monsters to keep evolving until they become actual divine entities. Qinggang's entire fate will lie in his hands. I hope you realize that the reality you think is set in stone will also face those wild variables, she said. As for those scattered mutants, we actually detected the anomaly over 8 hours ago, so we activated our emergency defense protocol number 1. Before they could mutate, we deployed Class 7 mutants and an A-class psychic. She stood up with a smirk. As for the remaining 30%, most have already been contained and purged by our own psychics in Qinggang. Very few of them actually managed to reach the Apostle's location, especially after one of our Phase 2 psychics from Qinggang stepped in. He completely cut off the connection between the Red Apostle and those trashy spirit monsters scattered across the city. Thanks to that, its spiritual energy level maxed out and capped at barely 50,000. Facing those sharp words and cold hard proof, Elder Ye froze up. She sneered, did you really think you could hide the Red Apostle's ability to devour normal people's power all for yourself? No big deal. We already analyzed it anyway, she continued. That monster you treated like a god just got beaten to a pulp by our espers. Man, what an absolute shame. We wanted to use it to test the power of Professor Epsung's new cannon. Too bad we only sent 2 of our espers. The main issue is already solved. No way, he gasped. She lightly pressed the button to roll up the window. Turning to Elder Ye, she said, I handpicked this interrogation room just for you, so you could get a direct view of the Donghai Hotel. Go on, take a look. Can you even see that monster anymore? This is not over yet, the old man snapped back. We planned this way too carefully to let you guys wrap it up this easily. She smiled. But that is the reality. Oh, and here is another secret, since you will never get to share it anyway. Everyone out there thinks our Tsingport only has 1 A-plus class Esper on our side. But actually, we have 2 S-class Espers. One is keeping her real rank hidden, and we did not even bother reporting the other one to the higher-ups. Furious, he yelled. You guys are playing with fire and you are going to get burned. A high-walled city like Qingport cannot handle 2 S-class Espers. It is impossible. And besides, do you seriously think that kid is easy to control? Once you force him to unleash his final power, Qingport will forever turn into a city of pure monsters. Her expression turned menacing as she calmly whispered, Oh, really? And what did I just say? She reported immediately, special update. We have the latest interrogation results. Listen up, the Red Apostle likely has one more power up its sleeve. Tell our soldiers to stay on high alert. We suspect its third ability triggers a massive release of spiritual monsters. She turned back with a satisfied smirk, adding, also, get some memory-reading espers down here to dig through his mind. He is clearly hiding some memories. Hearing this, the old man began to panic. Under the round, blood-red moon, Han Bing was terrified when her communicator lost connection with Lu Xin. "Soldier, can you hear me?" Han Bing shared the intel gathered after interrogating the old captain of the maritime nation. "We just found out the Red Apostle has one final hidden ability. When pushed to its absolute limit, it will release a massive wave of spiritual monsters. These beasts are totally different from the mutants in Singport, so please get ready to block their sudden counterattack." She urgently warned the soldier. Han Bing immediately replied, "Copy that. Soldier, what is the status of your mission right now? Is there anything we can do to help you out?" He flatly turned down her offer, replying, "I am almost done here. No need to rush or worry. I will give you an update when it is over." He quietly thought to himself, even though the people in Qingport are doing their absolute best to help, I really do not want to deal with anything else right now. Han Bing fell silent for a moment before replying, "Okay, I will be waiting. I will buy you dinner, and I will even make those mini wontons for you." Meanwhile, Lu Xin knew this monster excelled at fusion and insane recovery. Facing his father, it was completely suppressed because his father's power was all about total, absolute destruction. Meanwhile, Lu Xin's father was brutally tearing the monster apart. Under his father's absolute suppression, it could not regenerate even a single cell. This meant its final ultimate ability was about to unleash. All around him, monsters were constantly shifting into various bizarre shapes. The Red Apostle was now splitting and dispersing its spiritual energy. It literally fractured into tons of different individual monsters. Before, it boosted its power by swallowing other spirit beasts, but since I completely blocked that option, it makes perfect sense that it would choose to divide itself up instead, right? But does any of that even matter now? Down below, little 17 was mesmerized, happily treating those horrific monsters like her personal toys. "Hey, don't break my toys." Meanwhile, Lu Xin's mother was calmly teasing the beasts. "Oh, no need to rush. Why don't you visit our place sometime?" He looked at her in shock. "When did she get over there? She is still so lively." In the distance, his father seemed to be having a blast too. But then, he spotted something weird. A white shadow. Lu Xin planned his next move. Since his sister was busy playing below, he had to reluctantly borrow a bit of her power. He walked up to the white shadow, starting with, "Hello, nice to." Suddenly, his father charged at the target with a knife and terrifying power. Lu Xin rushed to stop him, yelling, "No!" He warned him, "Don't touch him." Annoyed that his fun was ruined, his father gave a cold, irritated snort. He turned to the entity. "Look at this mess you made. Shattered hotel glass, leaking pipes, bent railings. How much money is this going to cost me to repair?" Lu Xin complained. "I actually really like this city. So many people worked hard to build a peaceful place like this, but then you had to go and..." He felt a sudden wave of sympathy. "It seems like you really crave death. I actually understand that pain. I went through it too, except I was luckier because my family was there." He slowly reached his hand toward the entity. "But you still did a lot of bad things, so me ending you is only fair, right? I will make sure you go out in a spectacular way. Let us get this over with." He smiled, wrapping his hand tightly around its neck. "Since nothing really matters to you anymore, I am sure you will not mind helping me out, right?" He channeled his power and went deep into the entity's mind. "Let me borrow your body to find a way into the dreamland." Stepping into a whole different world, he easily spotted a female demon surrounded by monsters. "Found you," he smirked. As the female demon panicked, he smiled. "Hello there. We meet again." He plunged his hand straight into her chest. His father and mother watched from the side. He warned them, "Do not stop me from doing this." Instantly, he slipped back into the previous dreamscape. Lu Xin pushed open the operating room door and stepped inside, overhearing the doctor's conversation. "Subject 17's vital signs are stable," they reported. "In fact, her body is actually improving. That makes no sense. Sliced up to this extent, yet her vitals are getting better? Is this thing even a human being?" Little 17 lay there on the operating table, covered in endless crisscrossed incisions. We must discover how she controls her body and why her severe wounds heal so incredibly fast. This is definitely not a human being. Watching this unfold, Lu Xin clutched his throbbing head. He could not believe how incredibly real this place felt. Suddenly, the medical alarm started screaming, sending everyone into a total panic. The anesthesia wore off and the little girl opened her eyes. "She actually woke up early. Should we sedate her again?" someone asked. "No," another stopped them. "The test has already begun. We already recorded the baseline data. Resedating her right now will completely ruin our test results." They kept slicing into her small body, pushing the experiment forward. She could not escape anyway, plus they could use this chance to measure her actual pain tolerance level. He felt his sister's agonizing pain as tears filled her eyes. Boiling with rage, both of them let out a deafening scream. "I will kill you all." Lu Xin lunged at the crowd. The entire scene turned into a giant mirror, shattering into a million pieces as he lunged forward. He screamed in vain. No! Lu Xin snapped open his eyes, clutching the female demon as he returned to the real city. Adjusting his glasses, he thought, I felt such an uncontrollable rage inside. Did these glasses actually help me vent it out? He walked away with a cold look. The towering skyscraper reflected in his eyes. Time for a spectacular finale. Lu Xin literally strolled up the side of a skyscraper. With every step he took, this crazy power pulverized the monsters, sending them scattering into thin air. Right then, the tactical radio crackled with a frantic report. East Sea Hotel was the containment zone, but everything went sideways. A giant, ugly-ass monster just crashed the party, tearing straight through the quarantine line. We have a major breach here. Everyone started pointing at the sky in absolute terror. Hundreds of those freaky beasts were swarming in from the horizon. What in the actual hell is that? People were panicking, firing blind in every direction. They were totally overwhelmed and screaming into their radios, requesting immediate backup. We need backup now. Back at HQ, Chen Qing got the message and ordered everyone to lock and load. The horde kept growing, and the squad was barely holding the line. Watching the monitors, Minister Shen sweated bullets, asking if this was the ultimate weapon of that maritime nation mutant. Lu Zhang growled back, saying they planned this all along. If they couldn't cripple our city quietly, they were going to wipe us off the face of the earth. Professor Bai chimed in, warning that nobody could stop a horde of psychic monsters this massive. If they breached the perimeter, our entire city of Qinggang would be turned into a literal ghost town. But outside, a straight-up miracle started happening. Everyone stared, shouting, "Hey, look over there!" A massive wave of dark energy began to swell, and everyone recognized it as the shadow. Lu Xin grabbed hold of his giant shadow, sweeping up those freaks and absorbing them completely. The massive shadow swallowed every last monster in sight. One after another, they were crushed to pieces. The more monsters his shadow fed on, the wider it grew, eventually devouring every single creature in the sky. Watching this play out, Lu Zhang was sweating bullets from sheer terror. He threw a hand on Minister Shen's shoulder, speechless. Professor Bai slipped off his glasses, muttering nervously, a tyrant, indeed. Staring at Lu Xin's fading shadow, he sighed. This kind of power is way too much for any normal human to handle. Lu Xin let out a sigh of relief. Whew, finally over. Meanwhile, number 17 slumped down and whined to her mom, "Where are my toys? They're all gone." Big Brother took every single one of them. Lu Xin walked up, and the little girl jumped right up. "Big Brother," he smiled. "Hey there, little sis," and wrapped her in a hug as she kept chanting, "Big Brother." She comforted him, saying, "It is fine, you can have those toys. Do not cry, Big Brother, and do not be scared. Getting hurt is nothing." Then she stood up, telling her mom, "I need to find out what really went down that year." Lu Xin's mom asked, "And then what?" She already had a plan ready. "Then, I make them pay. Every single one of them, down to the last hair." His mom smiled. "Great. That attitude means you are ready to read those files." Walking onto the battlefield, Lu Zhang looked around, confused. "Why is it so quiet?" Professor Bai shrugged, guessing they already wrapped things up. The deputy minister frowned. "If it is over, where is the soldier?" Chen Qing hesitated. "The soldier?" He quickly added. "The soldier is probably fine," while Oa Oa stared out the window, looking anxious. Chen Qing's voice crackled over the comms, calling for Mr. Soldier. "Can you hear me?" Carrying the giant severed head of the apostle, Lu Xin walked over, looking a little awkward and confused. "Hey, I am back. What is with the faces?" Everyone was totally speechless. Chen Qing cleared his throat, asking, "Soldier, how did the mission go?" Lu Xin shrugged, all done and dusted. He explained, "That psychic monster called the Red Apostle? Yeah, I took care of him." He lifted the giant severed head up. "I noticed this guy is actually linked to the corpse of the messenger from the maritime nation. Just to make sure he does not pull a fast one, like resurrecting or spreading new contamination, I figured I should bring his head back with me." He politely added, "Oh, by the way, his body was way too massive and dragging it would be a huge pain, so I just brought the head. Makes total sense, right?" Chen Qing sighed. "Okay, no need for the gory details. Why did you ignore the radio operator?" Lu Xin rubbed his neck. "Oh, that. I was busy thanking my family for helping me take down the monster, so I missed it." Then he panicked internally. "Shoot, is the boss pissed at me now?" Professor Bai chuckled in approval. Well, you did a stellar job wrapping this up, kid." Minister Shen watched closely as Chen Qing handed down the next steps. "During this brutal and highly toxic contamination assault that our city had to suffer, you and Dahl successfully neutralized both of their massive contamination sources. The city will definitely remember your bravery, and your fat bonus is guaranteed. For now, head over to the designated safe house to chill. The backup team and other psychics will take care of the rest of the cleanup." Lu Xin totally vibed with Chen Qing's plan. Lu Zhang grabbed his hand, showering him with praise. Lu Xin gently nudged him. Hey, remember that haunted house we talked about? Lu Zhong laughed awkwardly, saying, the city has got you covered. Just go rest and we will talk later. Hyped from the boss's praise, he grinned. Getting props from the big guys feels awesome. Lu Xin casually tossed the Red Apostle's head to the special ops agent, saying, all right, we are out of here. Oa smiled and nodded sweetly. Meanwhile, in the car, Minister Shen was chewing out Professor Bai, saying what you did this time went way too far. Minister Shen snapped, I know you are hiding major secrets about the soldier. Honestly, I bet your past analyses were just smoke and mirrors to keep us in the dark. This completely violates the transparency rule we established from day one at the Special Clearance Department. We need answers. Now. Lu Zhong turned around from the front passenger seat and chimed in. Sure, your choices definitely helped save the city this time, but we still need details. Professor Bai sighed. Look, I withheld some info, but only because I had to. He adjusted his glasses. Besides, to protect these sensitive secrets, the Alliance Research Institute forced us to sign a strict non-disclosure agreement. So keeping you guys in the dark didn't technically break any protocols. I promise I will debrief you on the whole story later, so just chill. Lu Zhong tapped his communicator screen, saying, all right, now we have got some serious business to handle. Once he got Old Ye on the line, Lu Zhong did not waste any time getting straight to the point. Old Yi, hate to burst your bubble, but those psychic monsters roaming around our city have been completely wiped out. Even that massive S-class psychic entity your country left behind after their agent died got absolutely wrecked by our special ops guys. We barely took any hits. Old Ye scoffed, if everything is so great, why are you calling me? Lu Zhong went dead serious. Here is the deal. Our city did not turn into a graveyard like you hoped, but this attack still cost us over 3,000 casualties. So, how exactly does the maritime nation plan to pay for this mess? Cut to the safe house, where an agent pointed the way. Mr. Soldier, since this whole thing caught us totally off guard, and this safe house is still undergoing quick repairs, we couldn't set up the room with stuff Doll likes. If she starts throwing a tantrum, we are counting on you to keep her calm. Oh, and keep your voice down when you comfort her. Lu Xin nodded. Got it, go do your thing. The agent smiled wearily. Actually, this is our thing right now. By the way, here are some toys we scavenged for Doll. Now, we are gonna go whip up some late-night food for you guys. Lu Xin scratched his head. Awesome, thanks a ton. I am actually starving. The second they stepped out, Oa shed her heavy jacket and kicked off her shoes. She bolted straight for the toy box, grabbing the toys to check them out. Then she literally tried to rip the box open with her teeth. Lu Xin panicked and jumped in, showing her the right way to open it. Like this, see? She nodded, totally getting it. Watching her play with her toys, he realizes she is doing great. Leaning back, he zones out, thinking about how his own emotions nearly spun out of control during that last crazy mission. Honestly, if it were not for that key Stage 2 item, he would have totally lost his mind. It kept him chill when things got sketchy. Very handy. He slowly pulls off his glasses. Staring at the glasses, he says, you actually did a killer job this time. He gives the glasses a wicked look, making them literally shiver, and mutters, but let's be real. I can feel that you are playing games with me. You're not being honest. You've got way too much ambition for a pair of shades. You even tried to play boss during the gig. He bends the frame, making it go totally limp with fear, then chuckles. Look, we just met, so I get it. We've got plenty of time to get on the same page. We cool? He asks, as the glasses snap back to normal. Doll sees him talking to himself and gives him this massive, utterly confused look. He shrugs, chill, just testing the quality of these specs. Closing his eyes, he realizes his to-do list is packed. Suddenly, his dad's ghost looms behind him, whispering, aren't you sick of letting these rigid rules keep you on a leash? These chains are holding you back. You could literally have it all, including her. His dad just doesn't get what he's playing at. Are you seriously happy acting like a total chump? You can take whatever you want, he points at Doll, who is staring blankly. I mean, look at her. She could be yours too. As his dad's figure fully solidifies, Luke Tan just sighs. Dad, your ideas are always so extreme. But seriously, don't cross the line. Rules are the only thing keeping us human. Suddenly, a ringing phone cuts their conversation short. It is Tran Than on the line. How are you guys holding up? As his dad fades, he tells her she is playing with Lego blocks, and I'm just waiting on some late-night takeout. Tran Than breathes a sigh of relief. Okay, good. We're doing final sweep-ups, but the major contamination hotspots are basically cleared out. Hearing this, he asks, perfect. Since the heavy lifting is done, can I head back to Satellite City now? She asks, when? He blurted out, like right now. It is getting weird hanging out with Doll anyway. She sighs, all right, let me clear it with the higher-ups. I know you are in a rush, but take a breath. At headquarters, Director Chan briefs the other leaders in the meeting. He just said it's no longer convenient to hang around Doll. Does this mean our boy is mutating after hitting Stage 2? Like, he is starting to find it hard to resist her dangerous psychic influence? Minister Shen immediately snaps. If that is the case, we need to separate them right now. Professor Bai speaks up. Look, Those glasses are designed to stabilize emotions, so resisting her should theoretically be easier. The issue is with the kid himself. If there were 0 changes between stage 1 and 2, that would actually be a failure. Commander Chen cuts in. Look, that science stuff is on you guys. I only care about making sure this kid does not go rogue on us. Commander Shin sighs. A kid with that level of self-awareness is incredibly rare. Professor Bai calmly reassures them, saying that preventing all issues is a broad concept. I suggest everyone just chill. Everyone rolls their eyes, thinking he's about to drop another philosophical quote. Bai continues, as for his request, stick to the protocol. Help him if you like him, ignore him if you don't. Just keep it professional. Everyone has the right to show their true colors. We should treat all these gifted psychics the same way. Let everyone express their honest thoughts and real attitudes. Just keep your head in the right space. He keeps rambling on about how everyone has potential toxicity when these mutants and anomalies start messing with the city. Aren't we the ones trying to influence them? Commander Shin mutters, man, this old geezer loves to talk. Minister Shen just scowls. Later, Tran Than calls Luke Tan. Good news, your time off actually got approved. Really? He asks. Yeah, she says. The doll mission is not super urgent anyway. If you want to head back, you are totally good to go. Everything is paused anyway. I can arrange a ride. Aren't you going to hang out and grab food with your coworkers first? He smiles honestly. I was planning on it. Just walking around, checking out the city, maybe buying some gifts for my family. Suddenly, his face drops. But wait, everyone is totally swamped right now, aren't they? He sighs, realizing they're probably buried in work. Coming all this way and not even getting to hang out? Man, that kinda sucks. Suddenly, Doll creeps up and stares right at him. Startled, Luke Tan blinks. What is up? She gestures to him, and he relays her vibe to Tran Than. Wait, you are saying you actually want to come hang out with me? Tran Than gasped. Wait, Doll wants to go out with you? He nods. She did not say it, but that is totally the vibe. Is she even allowed on the streets? Tran Than is firm. Absolutely not. Because of her special psychic nature, letting her stroll around and eat like a normal person means exposing her to crowds. Nobody is taking that risk. Besides, she used to be super quiet, never asking to go out. She seemed totally fine, just leaving her panic room occasionally for missions. Staring at her, he realizes this kind of lifestyle is seriously messed up. He feels kind of guilty just dipping out immediately, especially since she actually seems to want to hang out with him. She grabs a mask, hinting at her master plan. He relays this to Tran Than. Hey, what if we just put a mask on her? Tran Than immediately shuts it down. No way, we tried designing one before. Her skin is way too sensitive, and it triggers her claustrophobia. Wearing a mask is literal torture for her. Covering her face with an umbrella is already pushing her limit. Luke Tan looks at Doll with a shrug. Man, that makes things tough. Instantly, her face completely drops into pure sadness. She turns away and he sighs, man, I really wanted to take her out. Suddenly, she scampers back out with her entire head wrapped in a bath towel. Luke Tan stares at her, completely hesitant. This is a look. On the phone, Tran Than asks, what happened? Luke Tan explains, she literally just wrapped her head in a towel. Honestly, she looks super proud of herself for figuring it out. Luke Tan grins, all right, I am taking her out for some fun anyway. Tran Than sighs, fine, I will arrange the security details. He stands up and starts fixing her towel. You can't wear it like this, bro. People will think we are at a funeral. He gently drapes the fabric. There, much better. Throw on some colored contacts and we are good to go. Still better than looking like a mummy. Right on cue, their late-night snacks arrive. But when the special ops agents walk in and see her towel, they lose their minds. A bath towel? Are you serious? That looks awful. They quickly pull out a stylish veil, tie up her hair, and start complaining. Seriously, who lets a girl wear a dirty bath towel out in public? They beam with pride. This is our harbor's precious doll we are talking about. Now she looks absolutely gorgeous. Luke Tan chuckles awkwardly. Okay, yeah, she looks way better, but seriously, don't blame me. It was completely her idea. Handing them an umbrella, the agents smile. We're taking you guys to the liveliest spot in town. Don't worry about a thing. Under the neon red sky, with full security detail, they are told to just have a blast. Walking through empty, riot-torn streets, Luke Tan sighs. So quiet. I bet those psycho mutants completely trashed this place. Still, having the whole block to ourselves is kind of a flex. His stomach growls. Man, I should have finished that late-night takeout before coming out here. But wait, he spots a brightly lit stand. Oh, looks like someone is still open for business. Lu Xin and Hua went to order. Hey boss, get me some stir-fried noodles with extra egg, tons of meat, and some bean sprouts. The vendor nodded. You got it. Lu Xin was shocked, asking, hey, with the city in this state, you still dare to set up shop? The guy puffed his chest out proudly. Scared of what? Just a couple of psycho freaks. Back when I was serving with the city's 3rd C Regiment, we survived way worse than this. Listen, kid, chaos means cash. You think the city patrol would let me sell here normally? Over the comms, Tranthon heard it all. Like they say, high risk, high reward. That is how you strike it rich. She figured the older generation just had way tougher mental grit. Besides, business was booming today. Once the inspections wrap up tonight, tomorrow will be much easier, and everyone can finally get back to work. Give it a week, and Tangpu will be buzzing again. In a few months, all this crazy chaos will just be a forgotten memory. She credited Lu Xin and Owawa for restoring order to the harbor, bringing back the peace from when he first arrived. After all, he and the doll saved everyone. But Lu Xin stayed humble, praising Tranthon's hard work. It was not just us, he said. He smiled. I know you have been working your butt off, probably even more than us. She stood there speechless, letting out a sigh. Turning to Owawa, he said, Eat up while it is hot. Then Lu Xin broke the news. I have to head back tomorrow, but I will come find you when I get the chance, okay? Huahua nodded, looking pretty bummed. Lu Xin realized this kid was not clueless at all. She was actually super smart. He invited her out. Come on, since we are full, let us hit the streets. They strolled and shopped. He hesitated, mentioning he wanted to buy gifts for his family but had no clue what to get. Hearing this, she excitedly volunteered to help. Wait, you mean you want to help me pick them out? He trusted his own taste to pick gifts, but Owawa went wild. Pointing at a bag, she said, Buy this for Mom. It is definitely the prettiest. Then it was Owawa's turn. She excitedly picked out a stuffed chicken plushie. Lu Xin grinned and agreed, My sister will love this. She has been wanting one forever. Next, Lu Xin enthusiastically picked out a coat. This totally matches my dad's vibe. He will love it. On Monday, Lu Xin was dragging his suitcase, waving goodbye to Owawa. I am heading out. I will visit you when I can. He wondered, weird, why is she not her usual energetic self? Did hanging out for a few days not spark any real connection at all? Cut to the train station, where the PA system blared. Doors are closing. Please hurry up. Lu Xin felt a wave of regret. He did not get to hang out with his buddies like Gecko, Han Bing, or Purple Ghost, and he missed seeing the city's wildest streets. Lu Xin realized his biggest regret was breaking his promise to Han Bing. She wanted to hand-make wontons for him, but he had to leave early. Han Bing was still just a girl, and she treated him so well. Was it because she truly wanted to? Or, suddenly, a train attendant approached him. Excuse me, are you the soldier gentleman? Curious, he opened the container. Wontons, the attendant explained. A girl down on the platform asked me to hand this to you. He was stunned. Looking out the window, he saw her. As the train started to move, Han Bing waved cheerfully at Lu Xin. Next time, you better buy me dinner. Okay. He smiled and waved back. Meanwhile, an observer's voice reported, the doll did not sleep all night. She is in a terrible mood, and she has been building Lego blocks into Lu Xin's face again. She suddenly looked up with hope, scanning the room as if searching for him, but only silence greeted her, her eyes filled with deep sorrow. Cut to Lu Xin's house. He opened the door. Mom, Dad, I am home. 17 ran over, laughing. Big brother is back. Suddenly, a dark shadow lunged at him. Whoa, what is this? Who are you? A dog appeared, wagging its tail like crazy to welcome him. The little girl asked, Big brother, did you not bring this puppy back from the main city? He suddenly remembered. Oh, right, that is him, the little girl called out. Puppy, come here. Lu Xin's dad grumbled. We can barely feed ourselves, let alone a dog. He joked about stewing it, and the pup whimpered in terror. Lu Xin fell into deep thought. The new glasses Professor Bai gave him harbored a strange psychic energy called the gaze. When he decided to accept them, he could not help but wonder, would this completely alter his destiny? Like maybe he would get a new family member. Looking at things now, this little pup definitely counts as family, right? Lu Xin's mom hung up the phone and joined the conversation. Having a dog is actually pretty nice. Watching this little guy run around the living room brightens up the whole house and makes everyone smile. He grinned. Exactly. Oh, by the way, I bought some gifts from the main city for everyone. Everyone was shocked. Whoa, you actually bought us presents? I want mine. But once they opened them, things were not quite what they expected. Lu Xin bragged proudly. You like it? I spent forever picking these out. Then he handed a shirt to his dad. This one is for you, Dad. Lu Xin walked into the kitchen to hand over the gift. This is for you. I noticed your old apron was getting pretty worn out, and since you love cooking so much, I figured this would suit you perfectly. His dad grabbed it. Lu Xin smiled. I brought back food. Let us eat early today. I am starving. Under the dim light, his dad stood wrapped tightly in the new apron. His mom and sister could only smile awkwardly. Lu Xin insisted. Looks great on you, Dad. His dad just chuckled dryly. His mom looked at him with care. You seem in a rush. Do not worry, we understand. You had to find out sooner or later, and holding back until now was already impressive. Holding the golden key, his face turned serious. Okay then. He slotted the golden key in, unlocked it, and pulled out the contents. With the whole family staring at the folder, he muttered, I really need to know the truth. He slid the documents out. The documents detailed an S-class mission from the Eclipse Research Institute to hunt down a rogue lab and gather intel. Following a catastrophic incident that wiped out a train car filled with critical research data, the primary mission was to find any solid clues linked to that laboratory. Any leads would yield massive rewards, with no time limit or geographic restrictions. Lu Xin studied the paper closely. Scene cuts to the Special Clearance Department briefing room. Everyone waited with bated breath as yet another classified file was about to be opened. Before I deliver this report, I must warn you, what you are about to hear goes far beyond our pay grade. Knowing this might put you in danger, so prepare yourselves. Professor Bai recalled. From the very first moment, I laid eyes on the soldier's dossier, which recorded everything about him and his connection to the Crimson Moon orphanage. I already had a few theories about his true identity. Later, after digging deeper into that orphanage, I uncovered a critical piece of evidence. That seemingly ordinary orphanage might actually be linked to the Alliance Research Institute's missing laboratory. Minister Shen frowned, urging him, "You need to explain this in more detail. I want to know exactly what you uncovered." Professor Bai flipped the file over, revealing a signature. Minister Shen was skeptical. "You are basing this entirely on a single signature?" Professor Bai defended his claim, explaining that handwriting analysis proves everyone's script is unique. Plus, his handwriting is incredibly hideous. Everyone grew curious. "So, who is this person that you recognized?" Professor Bai grimaced as he uttered the name of the rogue lab director, Wang Jingyun. He was also one of the 4 elite, top-tier researchers back when the Eclipse Research Institute first started. Back when I was just a young intern at the institute, I actually attended a few lectures hosted by him, so his signature left a lasting impression. Everyone was utterly confused. "If that is true, why didn't you warn us sooner?" Professor Bai explained. "First of all, I signed a strict non-disclosure agreement when I left, so I could only speak up once you guys also noticed something off about the soldier. That way, I would not be breaching my contract. Plus, I needed to verify a few things first." He kept spilling the tea, saying the Lunar Eclipse Institute went nuts over that runaway lab. And get this, it wasn't just because an entire train car of lab equipment went completely missing out of nowhere. That's totally insane, and not just because 19 test subjects vanished. Meanwhile, at home, Lu Xin was glued to the files. Turns out, the freakish spiritual entity codenamed Tyrant was in that same lab. These were the extra deets on the runaway lab investigation. The lab director was some guy named Wang Jingyun, but honestly, who cares? Suddenly, a tiny scrap of paper slipped out from behind the file. He stared at it, his eyes going wide with pure panic. He definitely remembered that name, Wang Jingyun. It all came rushing back, and he spelled it out. That dude was the old director of the orphanage. Turns out the old man ran the whole research institute. No wonder he knew so much and dropped all those future spoilers. Sucks that this beloved boss kicked the bucket in that disaster. But then Lu Xin hit the final page and totally froze. Flipping to the very end of the file, he spotted a last-minute update on the runaway lab case. A few juicy new secrets had finally leaked out about Wang Jingyun's personal assistant. This guy, the head of the rogue lab, was suspected of secretly keeping the experiment alive. Then, a light bulb went off. He knew this dude. That face from his old nightmares, the lead surgeon who ran the dissection experiments. He was the old director's assistant. Lu Xin was fuming and totally creeped out. The guy popped up downtown just 2 months ago. He is alive? How is that possible? And if he is still breathing, then who the hell was the old director? Lu Xin went pale. They said the guy who sent the letter was Wang Jingyun, so that means... Suddenly, his whole apartment started shaking like an earthquake, and the lights flickered madly. A dark, creepy aura seeped out of him. Then out of nowhere, the dog nipped at him, snapping him out of it. A weird energy surged through him, and his wild emotions instantly chilled out. His mom looked at him and asked, "Why are you making that crazy face?" Slouching in his chair, he looked down and mumbled, "Someone from my orphanage is still alive. I should be." His eyes went cold, and a creepy, twisted grin spread across his face. "I should be happy, right?" Cut to the briefing room. Professor Bai scowled at the group. "Look, I kept you guys in the dark because I couldn't let the lab find out. Plus, I had to use Qinggang's power to keep our soldier under control. If I had dropped my theories about the soldier early on, first off, we couldn't guarantee someone wouldn't blab. Second, if we got too paranoid, it would trigger him, and that is the absolute last thing we need for his mental stability." He kept going, laying out the ugly truth. Either our soldier has completely lost his mind, or the Institute is already on their way to grab him. Either way, Qinggang is screwed. Tu Xinzong cut in and said, "Look, I trust your gut on this, but there is still one thing that is totally bugging me. The Lunar Eclipse Institute is the absolute gold standard for studying these mental freaks, and you literally used to work there." He squinted at Professor Bai with deep suspicion. "So why are you so incredibly paranoid about your own old colleagues?" Professor Bai looked down, remembering some dark memories. He replied, "Because too many things didn't add up. Back when I was in the very first class of interns, I noticed something super weird. The institute supposedly didn't exist until after the Red Moon disaster. But get this, a bunch of their top scientists were actually hired way before the sky even turned red. Tu Xinjiang chimed in. So you are saying they were already studying mental mutations before the Red Moon even happened? Professor Bai nodded. Exactly. And right after the disaster, they rebranded as the lunar eclipse, claiming they wanted to block out the red light and end all this madness. But before that facelift, they were called the Crimson Moon Institute. So ask yourselves, why on earth would they call it Crimson Moon before the moon even turned red? What was their real goal back then? Tu Xinjiang narrowed his eyes. So what is your theory about the Lunar Eclipse Institute today? Professor Bai sighed. Honestly, I have no idea what their actual endgame is. Sure, maybe they did a complete turnabout when they rebranded to survive. But if we want to stay alive, we have to keep our guard up and doubt absolutely everything they tell us. The deputy chief of Qinggang Administrative Office finally spoke up. You've got a point, but what is the actual connection between our soldier and this sketchy institute anyway? Qinggang can't just ditch the institute's backing. But look, we don't have to choose a side. Why stress about picking a team in some shadow war that might not even be real? He kept going. As for the soldier, the institute used to run this massive project focused on taming 13 dangerous types of spiritual entities. Our soldier is probably a stray survivor from those tests. The insane tyrant power he showed basically proves it. Still, I'm not going to force him to spill his secrets. Professor Bai stood up. Look, our goal is simple, bringing back civilization. History shows that without a big picture goal, we'll just slowly rot away. We are all stuck under this creepy red moon, so absolutely nobody gets to sit on the sidelines. Did you guys ever think about the fact that the tyrant power and the specific power to stop it both showed up right here in our city? Is this just a wild coincidence, or is there a bigger game being played? The deputy chief looked stressed. Honestly, I don't care if it's some conspiracy or a fluke. I just want to know if this soldier is our ultimate shield, or a ticking nuke waiting to blow our city sky high. How do we stay safe? Professor Bai shrugged. Look, the kid is just an ability user hired by our special department. He signed the contract, so we don't need to overthink this. We just play our part. And as for your second question about staying safe, easy. We stay safe by not doing stupid things that get us killed. Suddenly, his voice boomed. Of course, there is one other option. That is the Heavenly Kingdom plan I brought up before. The entire room went dead silent, and everyone started trading uneasy looks. Tu Xinjiang spoke up. I am down with the plan, but there is still one massive catch. Is he actually going to show up? Professor Bai took off his glasses and calmly replied, Look, I can't give you a straight answer on that, but if he really does show up, I will have a little chat with him. Meanwhile, Lu Xin stood outside, staring at the sky. Document 003 had way too many red flags, like the old director, for starters. Like that guy Chen Qing. Is he actually alive or dead? And what exactly did they run into back in the day? I bet only teacher Xiao Lu has the answers. As Lu Xin started walking up the stairs, a gray-haired guy using a little hand fork in a planter called out. Back pretty quick this time, huh? He tossed the tool into the soil while Lu Xin shrugged. Yeah, got lucky and wrapped up the gig early this time. Lu Xin scowled, lost in thought. He tried to remember his childhood, but his memory was a total mess, like a movie that had been chopped up by censors. Nothing made sense. He pictured his mom, dad, and adopted sister. He remembered being a kid at the orphanage, the old director teaching him, and getting into fights alongside teacher Xiao Lu. But after that, total blank. He had no clue how he even left that place. All he remembered was wandering the streets in a complete daze before his family suddenly appeared out of nowhere and moved in with him. After that, his memories cleared up, like going to school. His mind drifted to high school, but looking back, there was a massive one-year gap in his timeline. No matter how hard he tried, he only got broken fragments. Then, his mind shifted back to how the orphanage looked today. He remembered that after living with his family for years, he finally decided to go back to the old orphanage. But instead of finding just a pile of ruins, he actually ran into a familiar face in the wreckage. It was teacher Xiao Lu, the girl he grew up with. She was so young but was already busting her tail to raise orphans in the city. Then he thought about the security guard. The guy had been working there since the early days, even during the toughest times when things were completely broke. The orphanage couldn't even afford food, so where the hell did they get the cash to pay a guard? Suddenly, a loud shout snapped Lu Xin right out of his daydream. Hey, move it! Caught off guard, Lu Xin gasped. Whoa! The security guard snapped back. Whoa, my foot! Standing by the window like that, your big shadow is completely blocking my favorite flower pot. Lu Xin glanced at the tiny plant blooming with a single rose in the pot nearby. He shrugged and headed up the stairs, but still turned around to give the guard a quick wave. See ya, Lu Xin said. The guard waved him off, muttering, Yeah, get lost. Reaching the hallway, a pack of 4 kids, 2 boys and 2 girls swarmed right toward Lu Xin. They cheered excitedly. Hey, did you swipe our favorite glass marble last time? Lu Xin shook his head and replied, Nope, not me. Why would I even steal your marble anyway? A kid in a blue shirt asked innocently. Oh, then when are you marrying teacher Xiaolu? Lu Xin stared, totally thrown off. Since when did kids get so insanely sharp and fast? The kid kept going. Word is, weddings mean free candy. If you do not marry her, how are we supposed to get our sugar rush? Lu Xin smiled. Fine, I will buy you guys some next time. Teacher Xiaolu chuckled at the scene, clearing her throat softly. Ahem, you are finally back? She tucked a stray hair behind her ear, smiling. It is good to have you back. Why don't you stay for lunch? At lunch, a simple spread of 4 dishes sat on the table. Lu Xin spoke up. This trip to the main city. It actually brought back some of my old memories. He grabbed some food, continuing, and it got me thinking. Do you remember Director Wang from our orphanage? In my mind, he was always such a kind, good-hearted guy. Things were pure chaos back then, but he kept us safe. We even had meat with every single meal. Xiaolu nodded. Yeah, and I remember him teaching us our lessons. He used to say the scariest thing is not how many people go crazy, it is when the sane ones throw away their humanity, becoming way more terrifying than any madman. Lu Xin laughed, remembering Director Wang chasing them. Man, I still remember when I found a hidden folder on his computer. The second I opened it, he stormed in with a broom, chasing us all over the hallway. Xiaolu cracked up, totally sharing the vibe. Exactly. When we asked why he was hitting us, his face went bright red, but he refused to explain. After laughing so hard she literally cried, Lu Xin looked at her. So, the director really was one of the good ones, right? Xiaolu wiped the tears from her eyes and smiled softly. Of course he was a good person. Honestly, he was the best man in the entire world. But her smile faded as tears streamed down her face. She hunched over, her expression turning dead cold as she gripped her rice bowl with shaking hands. I also think he was the most terrifying monster in the world. Her eyes went completely dark. She muttered, Actually, I knew you would remember one day. I used to be so jealous that you could just forget all of that trauma. But at the same time, I was terrified of you remembering. I know you only recall his good side, which is actually a blessing. He really did have a kind heart. Pure terror flashed in her eyes at the memory of Director Wang. Honestly, if I had not seen it myself, I never would have believed it, no matter who told me, not when he put on that white lab coat. Lu Xin gently reached out, touching her trembling hand to comfort her. Hey, you really do not have to fear him. But she yanked her hand back instantly, her face pale with terror as her whole body started shaking. Her face remained pale. She looked away, stammering frantically, I am sorry. I am so sorry. Please do not misunderstand me. Lu Xin watched her panic. It hit Lu Xin like a truck. She was not terrified of the director, she was terrified of him. As he processed this, she looked up, sobbing. I know what happened back then was not your fault. I do not blame you, but I just cannot stop shaking. I am so sorry. Lu Xin stared at her sheer panic. In his mind, he could literally see her racing heart rate monitor and thought to himself, she is pushed to the absolute limit. One more tiny ounce of pressure, and she is going to have a complete nervous breakdown. How could he keep pushing her? He forced a dry laugh. Yeah, I know I look pretty intense, and my temper can be super scary. Look how bad I freaked you out. He turned toward the door, waving a hand. Anyway, I have got to get to work. I am heading out first. Have fun washing the dishes. Xiaolu just stared silently at his back as he walked away. Stepping outside, one of the kids immediately asked, Hey big bro, what happened in there? Another kid smirked. They totally fought, the other gasped. No way, then grinned excitedly. Sweet. So does that mean I finally have a shot? The first kid scoffed. As if, you could not even score some candy. As Lu Xin walked past the guard booth, the guard was eating. He stopped chewing and quickly muttered, Hey kid, do not get the wrong idea. Lu Xin stopped, glancing back out of the corner of his eye without turning around. The guard added, The thing she is actually terrified of is not you. Cut to the city, cloudy and overcast. The sky looked super gloomy. Sitting on a park bench beneath the skyscrapers, Lu Xin spotted a guy standing face to face with a girl. He had a massive bouquet hidden behind his back. Lu Xin smirked, thinking, Ooh, a confession? Classic. The guy was giving a heartfelt speech, pouring his soul out. The girl stood there, visibly sweating, clutching her chest to keep her racing heart from jumping out. Out of nowhere, little 17 popped up right next to the bouquet. With a mischievous grin, she absolutely shredded the flowers. When the guy finally pulled them out, there was not a single intact petal left. His romantic speech died instantly. Oh, baby? What is this garbage? The girl snapped, crossing her arms. Are you playing games with me? They had zero clue the culprit behind the ruined bouquet was giggling like a maniac right behind them. Lu Xin rolled his eyes, utterly helpless, but still flashed her a thumbs up. Nice job, kid. Definitely made my day better. Little 17 bolted over to where Lu Xin sat, yelling, Big bro! Lu Xin quickly gave her the bad news. Well, little sis, I still did not get the answer I was hoping for. Honestly, I asked teacher Xiaolu. The answer I desperately wanted was that the director was actually a great guy, and that all that dark stuff was just my wild imagination. Instead, I got the absolute worst-case scenario. Turns out, she is absolutely terrified of me. Little 17 beamed, hugging his arm to comfort him. "Aw, big bro, I am not scared of you at all." Lu Xin just looked at her, thinking, "Forget it, I am not going to call you out." Lu Xin patted her head, asking, "You want to go play outside some more?" She looked up, totally surprised. "Huh?" Lu Xin stared off into the distance, explaining, "The orphanage still has survivors, and that is a massive deal. Heck, even the old director might still be breathing. I need to know what went down back then, and if the people who deserve to die actually kicked the bucket. And hey, if they are still kicking, I would love to give them a taste of their own medicine." Little 17 tugged his arm, whining, "Big bro." Lu Xin's expression finally softened. "Honestly, I am actually pretty hyped right now. Ignorance was bliss, but now that I know some of our orphanage family survived, how could I not pay them a little visit? And as for all those burning questions, once I drop by, I am sure they will be more than happy to talk." Little 17 leaped up, wrapping her arms tightly around his neck. "Big bro, guess what? Actually," she cut off as Lu Xin's face went totally pale. He just spotted his mom standing right by the window, spying on them the whole time. His mom smiled serenely. "We have been waiting for you to make this move." His dad cackled, "Oh, for a long, long time." Heh. Lu Xin grabbed his phone, muttering, "No family meeting needed. It is a done deal. Now, my next move is..." The phone rang on the other end. The second Chen Qing picked up. Lu Xin chirped, "Hey boss, good afternoon. So, look, I need to request some time off." Chen Qing put a hand on her hip, frowning. "Time off? Are you not already resting after wrapping up your last mission?" Lu Xin scratches his head. "Yeah, a few days ain't gonna cut it. Need to grab some more time off. Can't say for sure yet." The voice on the other end goes, "What's the leave for anyway?" Lu Xin mutters, "Personal business." His voice and face instantly turn ice cold. Chen Zhan says, "Look, you played a huge part in helping Qinggang block the maritime nation's attack. Going by your contribution points, you can skip the line and get bumped straight to a level 4 special elite of Qinggang. Level 4 status gets you some serious VIP treatment from us. So even if it's personal, just name it. The special department will back you up." Lu Xin goes, That's not gonna fly." He adds, "This gig requires me to head outside the city walls." Chen Zhan presses, "Where to?" Lu Xin replies, "I'm heading to the city center." Chen Zhan snaps, "The city center?" Her scream has everybody in the control room turning around, instantly tuned into the drama. She asks, "Care to tell me why you're heading to the city center?" Lu Xin frowns on his end, thinking, "Man, why are there so many people watching?" He replies, "That's not really convenient. It's personal, you know? Can I just keep it to myself?" Chen Zhan backs off, softening her voice. "Of course, my bad for asking. In theory, your leave request can be approved easily, but you are a level 4 elite now. Rules say wherever you go, you gotta submit a request so the special department can hook you up with intel and keep you safe." Lu Xin gets it. His boss has a point, and his call was way too spontaneous. He asks, "Fine, I'll write the mission report first, then file the paperwork to leave the city." The other side replies, "Works for me." Chen Zhan adds, "On that form, you need to lay out the rough distance, how much time you need off, and whatever gear you're taking. Things are still totally chaotic outside the walls, and you've only been out once. It is super sketchy out there, so we should probably get some survival pros to prep you." Chen Zhan smirks, totally teasing him. "By the way, want me to hook you up with a driver? The last temp we threw your way had a whole list of complaints when he got back, so we should probably warn him first." Gecko, standing right next to her, backs off in terror, mouthing, "Don't you dare." Lu Xin instantly shuts it down. No driver needed. Lu Xin visualizes the two drivers and their rides, thinking, "No way I'm taking Gecko or Doll. I'm heading to the city center, not running a freaking daycare. And forget that iron beast of a car. My motorcycle is way more reliable, and little sister Hong can handle any trouble." An hour later, Lu Xin is staring at a massive packing list, looking stressed. The plan Han Bing drew up is insanely detailed. The gear list alone is pages long, but picking what to take is a nightmare. Any more stuff and my bike will literally collapse. For the trip reason, I'll just write visiting relatives. Right then, a voice chimes in his ear. "Good afternoon, Mr. Soldier. It's Han Bing." And she keeps talking. "Mr. Soldier, I've got two things. First, your mission payout is in. The base pay was 3 million alliance credits, but you killed it, so the front office tacked on an extra million as a bonus." Lu Xin blinks, totally shocked. "Wait, 4 million? He thinks back. Last time hunting the infected outside the city, he got 3 million, but that whole infected mess took days. That took days, but this gig was done in under an hour. Talk about an easy payday, he asks Han Bing. "So when does the cash hit my account? Also, can you do me a solid?" The bank transfer takes at least a week, but if you want my help, I'd be absolutely thrilled to do it. Lu Xin gets hyped and says, there's this gorgeous villa area up in Qinggang Mountain over at Satellite City number 2. I've always wanted a place there. With my savings and this cash, I should have enough. Can I wire you the money first? And when the check clears, could you go buy it for me? Han Bing gasps. Whoa, seriously? That's a massive move. Then she shyly suggests, since you're rushing to see family, why don't we go check out the place together once you get back? But Lu Xin is completely chill. Nah, just buy it and drop the keys off at the Red Moon Orphanage right next to the guardhouse. Leave the leftover cash there too for utilities and groceries. Han Bing is totally stunned. That is literally 2 million credits. Just for utilities and food? Lu Xin scratches his head. Well, I mean, we could stock up. Pork prices are crazy high right now. Can you help me out? Han Bing smiles. No problem. Since you trust me so much, I'll make sure it's perfect. Lu Xin is touched. Han Bing is honestly adorable. She treats him so well, and she makes the absolute best wontons too. Suddenly, Lu Xin remembers and asks, oh, right, what was that second thing you wanted to mention? Han Bing snaps out of it too. Oh, my bad, almost forgot. The second thing is from Chief Chen. She says Qinggang needs a package delivered to the city center. Since you're heading there anyway, why not just drop this box off? It counts as an official mission, meaning no leave forms needed, plus you get an extra allowance. Lu Xin gets hyped and grins. Wow, what a coincidence. Han Bing continues. Also, since you're heading to the city center to see family, then she warns him, please try to play by their rules and follow the local laws, Mr. Soldier. But if things go sideways, just hit up our Qinggang contact crew stationed in the city center. We can totally trust them. Lu Xin quickly says, sure thing. Cut to the director's office, where Lu Xin walks in and goes, hey there, boss. The director beams, waving him in. Ah, little Lu, get in here, buddy. When did you get back? Lu Xin says politely, look, boss, I'm really sorry, but Before he can finish, the manager cuts him off. Taking more leave or quitting? Lu Xin says, actually, I'm here to quit. The manager sighs happily. Oh, thank God, I thought. He freezes mid-sentence, then shrieks. Wait, what? You're quitting? Lu Xin explains. I've been here a few years. It's been a fun job, but I need to clear out of the city for a bit. Not sure when I'll be back. So yeah, the manager's brain is spinning with a million questions. Why is this kid quitting? What the hell did he do with Deputy Xiao in the main city anyway? Both Deputy Xiao and his dad have been completely radio silent for 2 days. Are they dead? Now this kid is quitting. Did he finally realize this town is way too small for him? What if he snaps and goes postal on us before he leaves? The manager breaks out in a cold sweat. He grabs Lu Xin's hand, desperately begging, you can't leave us, Lu. What's wrong this time? Is your little sister sick again? Lu Xin looks completely bewildered. No, not at all. My sister is totally fine. The manager lets go of his hand and asks, so, how is Deputy Xiao doing now? Lu Xin rubs his chin. Probably not great. His aunt, well, his stepmom had some major beef with him, I think. And then, she did some pretty sketchy stuff and got hauled away by the authorities. Both Deputy Xiao and his dad are definitely feeling the heat right now. He thinks, wait, the 2 girls around the deputy got hauled to the hospital and the psych ward? What kind of crazy, twisted soap opera drama is this? The manager clasps his hands, desperately pleading, little Lu, please don't feel any pressure. This company treats everyone like family. Look, didn't I hook you up with all that leave before? No sweat. Handle your business and come back when you're done. I was young once. Love is messy. Lu Xin shrugged. All right, works for me. Lu Xin turns around and walks out. The manager frantically waves behind him, yelling, safe travels, little Lu. His personal bodyguard stands there completely clueless, while Lu Xin makes his exit. So the boss actually tried to get me to stay. Man, and here I was thinking he had some hidden agenda, totally my bad. He immediately barks at his assistant to get Vice President Xiao on the line. Apparently, the psycho who brings a gun to the office wants to resign. The assistant is just like, wait, are you serious? Is Christmas coming early this year? The boss, totally panicking and pissed, snaps back. Sweet deal my ass. Who knows why he is quitting or if he fought with Vice President Xiao? If I let him slip away, they will pin all the blame on me anyway. Cut to the orphanage. Lu Xin steps out of his yellow car and stares at the security office. He whispers to himself, just one last thing left to do. Heading slowly up the stairs, he notices the security guard's favorite potted plant is wrapped up in a protective wire mesh net. The entire orphanage is eerie and dead silent today. It must be outdoor playtime, meaning there is probably nobody inside right now. Lu Xin pulls a thick stack of cash out of his pocket and slips it right next to that potted plant. As he walks away, he glances back with real regret, not knowing when he will ever make it back here. Lu Xin revs his motorcycle engine, flying down the open road. He barks out a quick command, glasses, map. In a flash, a digital map of the city lights up right across his high-tech lenses. Lu Xin rides straight toward the glowing red sun, heading into a wasteland of desolate ruins heavily guarded by armed soldiers. Elsewhere, Professor Bai is talking on the phone, asking his contact, "So, what is your gut feeling about all of this?" Su Xinjiang frowns and mutters, "I both want and do not want to know who is backing him." Bai lets out a sigh, and a sudden voice crackles on the other end. Why did old Shen hang up? Is he in a rush to board a warship? Without saying a word, the vice chairman of Qinggang administration replies. He explains that the vanguard of the high seas state just sent a message. Do you know the outcome? Professor Bai grunts. Not quite what you expected, right? Su Xinzong replies, more than just unexpected. We thought it would be war, but when our vanguard reached the high seas state, they found the enemy had no intention of fighting back. They did not delay at all. They immediately arrested Old Ye and Shen Ming, drew a clear line, and strongly expressed their desperate desire to merge with our Qinggang. Wiping his glasses, Professor Bai says, so if this attack succeeds, the high seas state takes over Qinggang. If it fails, they surrender instantly. That old captain is literally betting his life to secure the final ray of hope for his country. Plus, they already spread rumors that if Qinggang takes revenge on the civilians of the high seas state, we will look like monsters. Su Xinjiang continues, besides, when we are up against helpless women, children, and the elderly who do not even carry weapons, we cannot bring ourselves to pull the trigger. That old bastard definitely saw this coming before he acted. Professor Bai puts his glasses back on, asking in disbelief, only women, children, and the weak are left over there? Su Xinzong replies, yeah, the rest are probably dead. That is the curse the old man was talking about. At least the old geezer was generous enough to dump a massive pile of research data on us before he kicked the bucket. Elsewhere, Lu Xin speeds down the road under the red moon, singing a goofy song about being a fierce little sheep. He smiles and thinks to himself, all right, only one more obstacle left. 400 kilometers to go. That is about 4 days to reach the city center. We planned a family trip to visit relatives, but I ended up traveling all alone. Once I reach the city center, which is the heart of the High Wall City Alliance, people will surely be reasonable. I am sure plenty of folks will gladly help me track down Chen soon. No more overthinking. First, I need to find the nearest settlement to rest up and restock on clean water. Lu Xin stops his motorcycle in front of a quiet village and grins. Wow, great landscaping. This is the perfect spot to crash. Walking in, Lu Xin shouts out, hello, anyone home? I am just looking for some fresh water. Suddenly, a strange sound echoes through the air. Lu Xin whips around and asks, wait, where is that screaming coming from? Sister 17 sits perched on the roof and calls out to Lu Xin, hey brother, over here. Lu Xin waves excitedly. Oh, there you are. You really are the best sister, always looking out for me when it counts. A bit later, Lu Xin stands before a house and yells, is anyone home? Do not be afraid, folks. I am from Qinggang, just looking to crash for one night and head out tomorrow. Suddenly, a sound rustles behind him. He whips around with a sharp, wary gaze. Standing there is a crowd of men who do not even look human anymore, their bodies totally mutated. He thinks, yep, definitely got company. An old man steps out of the crowd and asks, are you all alone? Lu Xin nods. Yep, do not worry. I just need a place to crash. If you guys can whip up some dinner, even better, I will pay. The old man glares at him and says, fine, follow me. Lu Xin whispers, sweet. So we have a deal? The old man mutters, you will be staying over at old lady Meng's place. She has an empty room. Everyone in the village sleeps early, so if you do not have business, get some rest and do not wander around. Lu Xin nods politely, works for me. Once they arrive, Lu Xin turns to the creepy crowd, drooling as he asks, so, what about dinner? I swear I smell fresh meat. But before he can even finish speaking, the crowd abruptly turns and walks away. The old guy just waves goodbye as he leaves. That is when Lu Xin finally takes a closer look around the village. The villagers all look incredibly bizarre, barely resembling human beings. Their hungry eyes look ready to swallow everything alive, and some of them cannot even walk in a straight line anymore. He sighs, man, these folks are so pitiful, especially that one crawling on the ground. Probably hurt, but this village clearly lacks proper medical care. He pushes the door open and immediately pinches his nose. The musty stench is overwhelming, a mix of rotting furniture, old clothes, and pure decay. Plus, it is pitch black. Squinting through the dim light of the window, he spots a shadowy figure sitting on a bed and calls out, hello, ma'am, do you have a light? Now that he is closer, he can see her face clearly. It is an old woman with a heavily wrinkled, completely lifeless expression, bone dry. He wonders why she is not talking, so he clicks on his flashlight. No worries, luckily I brought mine. Under the beam, another lifeless face emerges, with pitch-black eye sockets, blood-red pupils, and skin so pale it looks completely drained. The creature is curled up in the old woman's arms under a tattered purple blanket. Lu Xin aims the flashlight directly at them and smiles. There, now we can see each other clearly. He boldly steps closer and asks, Excuse me, do you guys have any food? The figure in her arms suddenly sits upright, glaring with pure, unfiltered malice. Getting zero response, he just pulls some food out of his backpack and chuckles. No worries, luckily I brought my own. Immediately, the monster's eyes light up. He lunges forward, snatching the food container right out of Lu Xin's hands at lightning speed, his tongue sticking out insanely far. Lu Xin gasps. Just then, Sister 17 leaps off Lu Xin's back and charges the guy, screaming, "How dare you steal from my brother?" But Lu Xin quickly grabs her hand to hold her back. "Wait, sister, let him be." The creature greedily gobbles down the stolen food, finally revealing his shockingly emaciated body. Sharp scales protrude from his spine. Lu Xin gently says, "It is fine." The grandson pulls a piece of meat out of the box and hands it to Old Lady Meng, who slowly reaches out to take it. Lu Xin reaches back into his bag to pull out more supplies. "Do not worry, I still have plenty. This canned meat is pretty salty, so it goes best with ramen. I have crackers too, but do you have water?" She points toward a small ladle on the opposite wall. He looks over. Perfect. Lu Xin sets up his portable stove to boil the water. "Thank goodness I listened to Han Bing and brought a Qinggang water filter, or I would never touch this stuff." The rich aroma is so mouth-watering that they all start drooling. Smells absolutely incredible. The old woman's grandson leaps up in excitement, but Lu Xin quickly grabs his wrist, cutting him off before he can snatch it. He glares at Lu Xin in fury, growling and snarl. Lu Xin frowns. "Go get a bowl first." Sister 17 pokes her head out with a sneaky grin. Whisper, "Brother, he is so annoying, why don't we just end him?" Seeing the kid panic, Lu Xin slowly releases his grip. Terrified, the boy drags his body backward. Lu Xin thinks to himself, his legs are deformed, just like the rest of the villagers. Something is seriously wrong here. He reached into the corner to grab a bowl, but it was totally cracked. He glared over and got dead serious. "Look around, man. Look how many of us there are. Grab 2 bowls instead." The grandkid stood there looking totally lost. Took him forever to actually get it. Finally, he pulled out 2 bowls, squeezed on past, and handed them to Lu Tan, who nodded. "Nice. Now we're talking. That's how you do it." Lu Tan carefully scooped the noodles into the bowls. "Smells amazing. This is how you cook. It's boiling hot right now, so don't go eating it like before. You two share the bowls. I'll eat straight out of the pot." He laid down 2 pairs of chopsticks and said, "Don't grab them with your hands. Use these." Grandma Meng grabbed a bowl with one hand, pointing at him with the other, rambling, "Get out! Leave the noodles and get lost!" Lu Tan was baffled. "Seriously, why? I literally just served you noodles, and now you're kicking me out?" She stared at him with dead serious eyes. "Run. If you don't leave right now, you're never getting out of this place alive." Lu Tan gave an awkward laugh. "Well, when you put it like that, maybe I really should hit the road." He turned to leave and saw 17 hanging upside down from a beam. He tossed her a piece of candy. "Here, kiddo, how about you snack on this instead?" Lu Tan looked back and gestured. "The rest of the noodles are all yours." Grandma Meng shuddered, looking totally lost. "What is this supposed to mean?" Lu Tan sat right back down. "Noodles are getting soggy anyway. I crashed here because it felt safe. You guys have plenty of gear outside, so food shouldn't be an issue. Why does everyone look half dead from hunger?" He suggested, "You two should pack up and move to Qinggang." She sighed heavily. "We're the only ones starving here. The others eat plenty. They're even roasting meat in the back right now. I warned you to run, but you stayed. What do you think they'll do to you when they finish eating?" Lu Tan finally got it. "So that's why you wanted me out, but it's useless now. They've got the whole place on lockdown. How do I even escape?" Grandma Meng muttered. "So you already knew about the lockdown?" Lu Tan grinned confidently. "Of course. But don't worry, it's really no big deal. I'm just on a business trip, doing a little family visit. My folks always say traveling is great for clearing your mind." Freaking out, she snatched the bowl back from the kid, thinking his food was sketchy. "Give that to me. Stop eating." The kid immediately lost it. Pure rage surged through him, and scary dark veins began popping up all over his body. Without hesitation, the kid lunged and bit Grandma Meng right on her hand. Lu Tan gasped, totally shocked by the sudden violence. "Oh my God, ma'am! Are you okay?" She whimpered in pain, clutching her bloody hand. Lu Tan frowned, analyzing the situation. "This kid is clearly messed up. Is that why those monsters didn't try to eat him?" Grandma Meng shrieked, "Who would dare? All 4 of my sons are dead. How am I supposed to survive on my own? And they stole all our food." Lu Tan realized what was happening. "Look, trust me on this. His mind is damaged, classic mental contamination. Since he's got it bad, your only hope of curing him is in Qinggang." What he said made her freeze in total panic. Mental contamination? Grandma Meng couldn't believe her ears. "Are you telling me the truth? Please, keep going." "Honestly, before the Red Moon event happened, I was actually a college student." Lu Tan thought to himself, "A college student, huh? I guess anyone who makes it to college is a brilliant young talent, just like Vice President Xiao." Her grandson looked like a straight-up monster now. with a cracked slit opening right on his head. Lu Tan asked gently, I can see it. When did he start acting like this? Tell me everything that happened. A bloodshot eye opened right from that cracked slit, its veins throbbing. Grandma Meng whimpered. About 2 months ago, a lot of villagers got sick, but none were this bad. My poor grandkid was starving and lacked everything, which is why he ended up like this. He wondered, 2 months ago, did anything else happen? Honestly, an illness like this usually has a specific trigger, like a stranger arriving, or something weird happening in the village. Was there an outsider? Her face fell. Yes, it was that woman, that absolute witch. Everything started with her. Every single bit of this nightmare came from her. Grandma Meng gritted her teeth in pure rage. My son brought that woman home. We treated her so well, never let her go hungry, and gave her the absolute best food we had. Who knew she was a curse? Not long after she got here, my oldest son was beaten to death while clearing land. Then, my second son wanted to be with her. But within days, he got sick and died too. Grandma Meng warned them to kick her out, but they wouldn't listen. My third and fourth sons were blood brothers, but they drew knives over her. In the end, one got his skull crushed, and the other had his guts spilled. Everything that happened is because of that woman. Ever since she showed up, everyone has been getting sick. I went straight to the village chief and told him we have to kill her. We have to execute her. Lu Tan was completely stunned for a moment, getting worried. Wait, is she still alive? Grandma Meng screamed in pure hatred. Yes, she is still alive. That miserable wretch is still alive. She killed my 4 sons, then hooked up with the chief's son. Shameless trash. He tried to calm her down. I get your anger, but take it easy. Give me the details so I can fix this. She cried, You don't know how evil she is. She has everyone in this village under her spell. She spat, We're starving to death because they hoard all the good food just for her. They even trade our actual food to get her fancy stuff. So think about it. Now that all the real food is completely gone, what do you think they're going to feed her next? Up high, little 17 was swinging and giggling. Big bro, look outside. Lu Tan turned his head around. No wonder I smelled roasted meat earlier. Looks like our guests have finally arrived. Shuffling footsteps drew closer and closer outside. Grandma Meng heard them too, muttering, Told you. She was clearly used to this. That woman must be getting hungry again. Crossing his arms, he muttered, I'll report this to Hanban. This place is compromised. Lucky for you, I'm the one they sent. 17 piped up, Hey big bro, can I take these things? Lu Tan tapped her on the head. Keep acting like that and you're getting a lecture. You've been getting way too greedy lately, kiddo. We need to fix that attitude before you go astray. Grandma Meng gasped. What are you doing? He answered calmly. Just going out to have a little chat. She suddenly screamed out the window. Zhang Dequan, don't hurt him. He can actually cure us. He said it's all that woman's fault. You need to kill her instead. A heavy knock hit the door. Shut your mouth, old lady. Hey, guest, step outside for a minute. We need a word with you. Lu Tan slowly opened the door and stepped outside, completely unfazed as he faced them. Hey there, he said. I'm just a passing traveler crashing here for the night, leaving tomorrow, and I'll pay for my stay. No trouble here. I'm from Qinggang with clean papers. One of the men spat back. The wilderness isn't lawless, kid. I don't care if you're the president himself, that doesn't fly out here. Lu Tan frowned. Besides, I was actually going to help you guys. You've all been contaminated. So, they immediately exploded in rage. Motherfucker, who are you calling sick? Get him. Kill this bastard. Gunshots blasted through the air, bullets tearing right through the charging men. Lu Tan slowly lowered the smoking barrel of his gun. Come on, guys, just listen to me for a second. If you push me, I will defend myself. I'm armed. Zhang Dequan quickly ducked behind his own son, pointing a trembling finger at Lu Tan. Shoot him down! Kill him, son! Zhang Quan cocked his gun, snarling, Motherfucker, I'll blow your brains out. Without flinching, Lu Tan stepped right up, grabbed the barrel, and forced it upward as a bullet blasted harmlessly into the sky. Dequan's eyes widened in sheer terror, breaking into a cold sweat. He stammered, Are you really? Lu Tan asked in a low, icy voice. Do you actually want to kill me? You got the guts? Do you really think before Zhang Dequan could even finish his sentence? Lu Xin blew on his gun barrel and sighed. Look, I seriously don't have beef with you guys. Meanwhile, Daquan collapsed, watching his own kid get blasted. But hey, if you try to mess with me, I gotta defend myself. Let's chill and clean up this toxic mess together. No charge. Meanwhile, Daquan clutched his boy, sobbing, My son, what happened to you? Talk to me. The other guys lost their minds with joy. Daquan is dead. That chick is finally mine. No, she is mine. My turn. They fought like wild dogs. That girl is mine. Lu Xin was confused. A woman? Is that the source of the contamination? 17 leaped onto his shoulder and pointed. Big brother, check it out. Curiously, he looked over. What is that? Under the blood-red moonlight, a woman stumbled forward as the village creeps swarmed her. Big brother, look at that. They scrambled over each other. She is mine. No, mine. Their obsessed eyes looked totally freaky, pitch black, like bottomless pits. This chick was pure poison. She limped with every step, her legs covered in nasty black and blue bruises. Lu Xin could not believe his eyes when the villagers actually started copying every single one of her creepy moves. It clicked. No wonder their bodies looked so bent out of shape. Those twisted, freaky contortions were impossible for normal humans. They were being forced to literally wreck their own bones. He looked up at 17. So, what kind of contamination is this? She pouted, turning away. I can dance way better than her. Lu Xin rolled his eyes. Kid, learn to walk normal first. He stared. She was like a monster, but without the usual fangs or claws. No obvious psychic anomaly. This meant he could not just blast her, he had to investigate. Suddenly, Granny Meng's grandson rushed out, his mutated body looking absolutely grotesque. Lu Xin was totally baffled, wondering what on earth this kid was trying to do. Then, an unbelievable scene unfolded right before him. The boy actually joined the crowd, mimicking her so well that their movements synced up like creepy clockwork. Lu Xin squinted, sensing something was seriously off. That kid's wrinkly skin and razor-sharp teeth seemed to have some weird, twisted connection to the dancer. He got this creepy feeling. Between these two, who was the real monster? Plus, the dancer and the crowd had completely merged into one. To stop this madness, he had to break their twisted logic loop, but what was the trigger? Just then, Granny Meng smashed her window, poking her head out to scream, "You miserable trash! Give me back my grandson." Once Lu Xin saw the old lady's real body, his jaw dropped. Oh man. She charged out, trailing a massive spine behind her. "Give him back!" Lu Xin froze. She was a psychic monster too. Granny Meng's vertebrae protruded like sharp, jagged spikes, covered in gross, pulsating lumps of deformed flesh. Furious, Granny Meng wrapped herself tightly around a man, screaming, "Give him back to me!" The guy struggled in vain, his eyes nearly popping out of his skull. "I can't stop my body." It all started to make sense to Lu Xin. The villagers weren't just being brainwashed by the girl's dance. She lunged at the dancer, screaming, "You cheap whore!" Lu Xin watched, worried. They were caught in a tug-of-war between two different supernatural forces, making the situation way worse. Granny Meng squeezed her little grandson tight, crying, "Give him back!" Clearly, he was the only thing she actually cared about. That explained why this kid was the most mutated freak in the village. Under that eerie red moon, a hypnotic dance was happening. Someone was desperately holding on. They were all fighting over something, and Lu Xin was totally confused. This girl was trying to send a message through her body movements. 17 just giggled beside him. "I think I get what went down here," Lu Xin muttered. He closed his eyes as flashes of the dancer's tragic past flooded his mind. Turns out, she was born in this post-apocalyptic wasteland but still had dreams. She was obsessed with dancing, hoping to become a superstar in High Wall City one day. So, once things settled down, she joined a crew of traveling performers, hitting different cities to dance. But then, disaster struck. Her dream was crushed in a single night when a band of ruthless armed raiders ambushed them. They said there were no bandits around, but honestly, they could have been anyone. They slaughtered her entire crew. Because she was so beautiful, they dragged her back to this filthy den as a war trophy, abusing her night and day. She tried to run for her life multiple times, but got caught every single time. They twisted her joints and eventually broke both her legs so she could never escape again. She completely lost hope. With her body and face covered in scars, a burning thirst for revenge took over. She created a dance born from her deepest agony. Even with a broken body, dancing was the only weapon she had left. So she hypnotized the whole damn village, becoming their twisted superstar. To win her favor, the men went crazy. They looted other camps, picked fights with stronger factions, and even slaughtered their own brothers. One by one, every single man in this village dropped dead just to make her smile. She just kept smiling. She watched their sheer ugliness with cold eyes, letting them slaughter each other. Lu Xin touched his chin, muttering to himself, I guess this was the only way she could get her revenge. They watched in silence as her dance kept telling the tragic story. Under the blood moon, the old lady wept, begging her grandson to stop, while everyone else writhed in agony. Granny Meng shrieked, "My sweet boy, stop!" She despised the dancer, claiming her own son had actually treated her well and that she had suffered just as much. But Lu Xin covered one eye, whispering to himself, maybe. But none of these monsters caught in her spell are innocent. In this creepy scene, the kid's dance was mimicking hers, but it was channeling a totally different vibe. To put it bluntly, even this little kid was obsessed with her body. He had sneaked into her tent more times than anyone could count. Turns out, he was the one she loathed most. He used to spy on everything from the hilltop and was the first to spot her camp. When he dragged his crippled body to them, she kindly gave him food, only for him to run off like a coward. Her image burned into his mind, and those greedy eyes never stopped watching her. Since Granny's sons had all died, this boy was her absolute last hope. Every time the red moon rose, the girl danced, and Granny tried to stop her. 17 looked up, worried. Big brother, what now? Lu Xin shook his head with a sigh. Honestly, I don't feel like doing anything. He looked up. Interrupting a live performance is just bad manners. Meanwhile, Granny Meng's body started cracking open, her bones literally slipping right out of her skin. Her lower body shattered completely, but she still clutched her grandson. Granny screamed in agony. Why? Why do I fail every single time? Let him go! Surrounded and spinning, Granny was losing this battle hard. The mob pushed her closer and closer to the edge, completely cornering her. But she just refused to admit defeat. Tonight, their endless feud was finally over. The dancer's routine was reaching a state of pure, bizarre, and terrifying perfection. Her eyes locked onto the two of them. Lu Xin started clapping gently. Hey, if you're in the audience, you gotta show some respect. Tears streamed down her face. He was the only person there who looked at her without trying to exploit her, the only one actually enjoying her show. Under a beam of red light, she bowed, lifting her hands as if holding an invisible dress. A graceful final bow, thanking her one and only true audience member. Luxton scribbled in his notebook, his mind a total mess. He couldn't shake that dancer's freaky routine. It kept looping in his head. What kind of insane supernatural powers was that dancer actually rocking? Port Sing logged those dancer powers, but who knows if they are the same breed. That creepy old lady was definitely a monster, though he wasn't the only one who could spot it. Closing his eyes to tune in, this wilderness was completely twisted. Humans with powers preyed on villagers, while actual monsters saved them. The line between good and evil was totally blurred. Maybe those True Star guys were actually right. Stepping out of his car, he scanned the dark woods. Wait, was he completely lost? And to make things worse, right after leaving that village, his sister had vanished into thin air again. He ordered his smart glasses to pull up the navigation map, but his stomach dropped. The highway was miles away, and somehow, he was getting even further from it. Navigating these backroads at night was a total nightmare. Looking up at the sky, at least the moonlight was bright. He figured he could take a shortcut and loop back to the main highway. But 20 minutes later, he was still driving in circles. Don't play me for a fool. Getting nervous now, this made zero sense. He pulled a compass out of his pocket, but the needle was just spinning wildly. He tried to stay calm, telling himself the main road had to be straight ahead. If that was true, he just had to keep driving straight. No matter what, he would hit the highway eventually. Plus, there was still enough moonlight to guide him. So he tried treating it like a fun little joyride, though inside he was crying over how much gas money he was burning. Another half hour went by in a blur until he finally stopped, noticing something. What the absolute hell? He had been driving forever, but the navigation map showed he was just spinning in a giant circle. He froze. Was he actually trapped in one of those legendary ghost loops? He racked his brain, trying to remember how to break the curse. He remembered some old ghost stories from his childhood. If you get caught in a phantom loop, you have 3 options. First, put underwear on your head and walk straight. Second, spit 3 times over your shoulder. Third, just yell an insult and march ahead without looking back. He went with the safest, least embarrassing option, which was spitting, because wearing underwear on his head was a hard pass, and cursing didn't feel right either. Spitting done, he felt totally confident. All right, let's ride. This has to work. Haha. But 30 minutes later, after driving God knows how many laps, he was completely exhausted and slipping into pure despair. He stared at the familiar scenery. He had passed this exact spot 10 times already. No way, wasn't that the exact rock he spat on half an hour ago? Figures. Those old myths are absolute garbage, totally unscientific, and a complete waste of gas. He forced himself to analyze the situation logically. A phantom loop meant something was messing with his perception, forcing him to drive in circles. The real problem was some spooky entity hijacking his brain. So, using actual science, the only logical way to break this loop was simple: find that damn ghost. Meanwhile, on another forest path, a pickup truck was crawling through the dark. The young guy inside groaned, "Uncle A, you have been driving for like a million years. How are we lost?" The older guy, Dashuang, snapped back in a rage, waving a shredded map. Little Mao immediately fired back, blaming his partner for making lazy, sloppy marks on the map in the first place. Otherwise, how did they end up lost on a road they literally just drove down? Little Mao kept whining, muttering that if they died out here, it was all Dashuang's fault for wanting to loot more crappy ruined villages. Grimacing, Little Mao grumbled that they were totally stuck and going to miss their shift. Dashuang kept swearing, wondering if a phantom loop was actually real. Turns out, they had tried every trick too, even putting underwear on their heads. "Uncle A, we have been wearing these on our heads for hours. It is not working, and honestly, they are getting super sweaty and smelly." Dashuang snapped, "Hey, the ancestors knew their stuff. Maybe modern ghosts under the blood moon don't respect the old rules." Little Mao sighed. What if we just park the truck and wait for sunrise? Dashwang immediately shut him down. No way. Sitting idle in this creepy wasteland makes me sick. We keep moving. I refuse to believe we can't escape this. Wait, we just passed that same massive, gnarled tree again. Uncle A, we are going to run completely out of gas. Mao panicked, shaking his shoulder. We are so dead. If we delay the convoy, the boss is going to murder us. She has been totally unhinged lately. She only sent us out to scavenge. If we aren't back by dawn and hold up the entire convoy, she will make an example out of you. With her temper, she might literally castrate you on the spot. Mao's words sent a chill down his spine. Shut up, you are freaking me out. Dashwang tried to remember the way. Logically, if they just followed this specific route, they should have reached their old camp hours ago. Yet they were hopelessly stuck in the wild, even though they followed the navigation map exactly. The grim reality sank in. They were doomed. They had tried every exit, and each one should have led them out. Instead, they kept looping back to this creepy giant tree. Shivering, Mao muttered. If some monster jumps out at us right now, I'm going to lose it. Right on cue, a red glow sliced through the darkness. Both of them gasped. Uncle, is that a headlight? Is someone actually out there? Dashwang immediately hushed him. No way in hell there's a normal person out here at midnight, Dashwang hissed. Shut up, kill the engine, grab your gun, and stay alert. Mao whimpered, clutching his head. Oh God, it's a ghost, isn't it? Dashwang tried to calm him down. The scariest things out here aren't ghosts. Let's see what it is, but keep your mouth shut. Just then, Luxton zoomed right past them. Mao blinked, whispering, Uncle, do blood moon ghosts ride motorcycles? Luxton gave them a casual wave. Good evening. Dashwang watched him speed by, his jaw dropping in absolute shock. Mao nudged him, asking, was that guy a human or a ghost? Since when are phantoms so polite? Why didn't you ask him for directions? Dashwang snapped. I didn't even have time to open my mouth before he vanished. Suddenly, Mao's face lit up with hope. Uncle, we didn't see him when we were looping earlier. Doesn't that mean the invisible wall is gone and we can finally get the hell out of here? He pointed at the map, tracing the route, but then he froze in sheer terror. Uncle, where that guy just came from, there are literally no roads. It is a solid, dense forest. Dashwang's heart hammered against his ribs. If there's no road, then what the hell just drove out of there? Suddenly, a creepy, distorted noise echoed. Sitting in pitch-black silence, they whimpered, what on earth was that sound? They locked eyes, trembling. Mao stammered, Uncle, please tell me that's not Dashwang swallowed hard. No way. Suddenly, Luxton zoomed right past their truck again, giving a friendly wave. Hello. In Dashwang's terrified mind, that simple greeting twisted into a faceless pitch-black shadow reaching out to drag them into the dark, whispering a horrific hello. Dripping with cold sweat, Dashwang peeked out, his whole body shaking. What on earth was that creature? But then, the motorcycle suddenly stopped in the distance and turned around, making him shudder in absolute terror. Luxton pulled up right to their window and frowned. Wait, didn't I just pass you guys? Realizing he was actually dealing with a human, Dashwang let out a breath. The two stepped out, hiding their guns behind their backs. Dashwang cleared his throat. Kid, what the hell are you doing out here? Luxton shrugged calmly. Hey, just heading to the city center to visit some family. Dashwang hesitated. Where did you just ride from? Scratching his head, Luxton sighed. Honestly, I am totally lost. I think some phantom ghost loop is trapping me, so I am hunting for the spirit to bust the curse. The two of them stared at his smug grin, completely speechless. Like, who in their right mind hunts down a ghost in the middle of the night? Dashwang cleared his throat to offer some advice. Look, kid, just drop it. You should keep moving. We are in no rush. Truth is, we are lost too. We are just going to chill here with our guns and wait for our crew to rescue us. Luxton casually whipped out his own pistol. No worries, I am packed too. Honestly, if your crew comes looking for you, they will probably just get trapped in this looping nightmare like the rest of us. Besides, don't you guys know how this phenomenon works? There are no actual ghosts in this world. It is just science. Basically, things are not what we thought. That ghost our director warned us about? Supposed to vanish by sunrise, but looks like this sucker isn't going down without a fight. Little Mao blurted out, I know this. Red moon ghosts are a whole different beast. Lu Xin nodded. Close enough, man. So, what do you say we go hunt this thing down? He got hyped, saying, we are definitely exposed to some contamination. Finding its core takes some serious logic. Think of this brain rot source as the ghost, no messing around. I need you guys to back me up. Uncle Soong scoffed and started walking. Forget it, kid. We're on a tight clock and can't waste time chatting. Look, everyone's out here trying to survive. More friends means more options. So let's hit it off next time. He slammed his foot down on the kickstart and hopped on. Lu Xin watched them speed off into the distance, muttering under his breath. Wow, what is the massive rush, guys? Little Mao scratched his head. Is that dude out of his mind, asking us to hunt a literal demon with him? Uncle Soong just muttered, ignore the freak. Let's move. Suddenly, Uncle Soong spotted something in his mirror and gasped, wait, What? Lu Xin was riding his bike right on their tail for some reason, making him stammer in disbelief. That kid? Seeing them look back, Lu Xin gave a cheerful wave. Uncle Sung freaked. Why is he tailing us? Little Mao cocked his gun, saying, I'll go take him out. Uncle Sung snapped. Are you crazy? Put that away. That's a human life, kid. Let him be, but keep your eyes peeled. If he gets too close, then we handle it. They finally cleared the woods and hit a desolate wasteland. Little Mao suddenly pointed. Yo, Uncle, what is that? Uncle Suang gasped. We made it out. But their faces instantly fell. Little Mao whispered his name, and Uncle Sung hissed. Shut up, not a word. Standing right there was a massive, creepy tree. Hanging from its twisted branches were human skeletons, some still dripping with fresh meat. Someone shrieked, What in the absolute hell is that? Suddenly, Little Mao and Uncle Suang flashed these creepy, wicked grins. Without saying a single word, they both slowly unbuckled their leather belts. Suddenly, the entire forest glowed a creepy, toxic red. Dozens of bodies were dangling from the branches. Lu Xin shuddered. Man, that's brutal. This tree is definitely the source of the brain rot. Staring at the rotting skeletons, he added, It's probably not the tree itself, but something living inside it. The logic behind this viral brain rot is simple. It warps the minds of anyone close by, forcing them to wander around in endless circles. Once they're totally drained and mind-wiped, they get dragged straight here to enter stage 2 of the viral infection. Lu Xin revved his engine, finally ready to bounce from the woods. I'm young, fit, and got a strong mind. When I was walking around earlier, I didn't even trigger their system, which is why I couldn't track down this anomaly. That's why I used these two as bait. They've been looping so long they literally put underwear on their heads. Peak brain rot criteria right there. Just tailed them and boom, found the anomaly. Didn't think it'd be this easy though. His glasses flashed with a cool gleam. Everything went exactly as planned. Turns out, good old scientific analysis is still the best way to handle this crazy stuff. Radiation levels at 120. His high-tech lens locked right onto the target tree. He muttered, Mental radiation without conscious control is usually just 1/10 of its actual power level. Seeing a hanging victim smiling creepily, he muttered, Being this close, if the radiation reads 120, then its true level must be insane. He whipped out his gun and grinned. Finding the core of this anomaly means game over for it. Without wasting another second, he unleashed a heavy hail of bullets right at the tree. The skeletons shattered, raining bones onto the dirt, trapped souls burst free, and the two brainwashed dudes crashed down, completely knocked out. Now, the tree was pissed. Glowing eyes popped open as giant branches lunged forward. Fanged mouths tore open on the wood. Lu Xin cursed, Oh crap, I'm surrounded. He grimaced as the branches closed in. Wait, is this thing trying to crush my mental defense? He turned to 17, saying, Sis, you always show up right on cue. Love you the most, now go get him. Meanwhile, 17 was just casually scratching their dog's head. 17 pointed and yelled, Sick 'em, boy! The dog's eyes went blood red as it snarled. Lu Xin blinked. Wait, we're sending the dog? The pup launched forward, ripping wood apart. Lu Xin grinned. Damn, this cute little guy is actually a beast. The dog turned into a straight-up demonic beast. It sank its fangs deep into the wood, making the massive tree thrash around in pure agony. But the tree fought back, wrapping a vine tight around the dog's neck. Lu Xin took a step back, staring at the pup. Why does it look like it's actually enjoying this? 17 frowned, saying, He's zoning out. The dog snapped out of it instantly. It chomped down hard on the constricting vine, even as a root pierced right into its belly. Its blood seeped into the wound, rotting the wood from the inside out. Lu Xin realized, wow, he's using his own blood to poison the host. The pup trotted back. Lu Xin sighed. Guess that's a wrap. Anomaly officially neutralized. He knelt down and scratched its ears. Good boy, definitely not your average pet. The dog wagged its tail happily. Throwing a charred wooden branch, Lu Xin smiled. Go fetch, buddy. The dog bolted after it. Opening his journal, he logged. Anomaly type, giant banyan tree in the wasteland. Modus operandi, disorienting victims and baiting them into hanging themselves. He paused to think. A normal tree doesn't just go rogue. Maybe the very first guy who hung himself infected it, turning the wood into a host for the anomaly? He kept writing. Better document everything for the Special Clearance Department. This report is worth some serious cash. Just then, the two travelers groaned and woke up. Little Mao rubbed his head, whispering, Uncle? Uncle Soong looked around dazed. Where are we? What happened? They both stood up, pulling up their pants. Uncle Soong stammered, Hey man, did a demon just possess us or something? Lu Xin scoffed. Dude, I told you, ghosts aren't real. It's just a brain rot infection. He pointed at the trunk. This tree is the source. It scrambled our brains, which is why we were all doing laps in those woods. Once we panicked enough, we'd black out and get dragged here to end it all. Oh, by the way, I'm Lu Xin from Clearport. You guys ever heard of Clearport? I deal with this kind of stuff back home. At first, I was just scoping things out. I wanted to break down the details with you guys, but never got the chance. Honestly, though, I really gotta thank you. Without your help, I wouldn't have cleared this entire case so fast. He gave Uncle Suong a warm, energetic handshake. The older man rubbed his neck, asking, "Wait, how did we even help?" Lu Xin just grinned. "Luckily, you guys made the perfect bait. Getting yourself infected led me right to the anomaly." Uncle Suing scratched his head, looking deeply confused. "Bait? Wait, that doesn't sound right at all." Lu Xin chuckled. "All right, we are all good now. But hey," he raised an index finger. "Can I ask you guys for one tiny favor?" They looked at each other nervously. "Like what?" Lu Xin pointed at the bones. "Help me clean up these remains so they don't corrupt anyone else." Suong and Mao nodded, throwing torches onto the skeletons. As the flames took hold, they muttered, "Don't hate us, guys. Rest in peace." As the flames roared, Lu Xin brushed off his hands. "Yep, this case is officially closed," Uncle Sung asked. "So, what is your next move, brother?" Little Mao piped up. "So what actually is this brain rot?" Lu Xin explained, "Honestly, it's a new post-red moon disease. It's highly contagious, but it only targets your mental state. From the outside, regular people can't even tell if someone's infected or not, but they sure can feel the crazy." Uncle Sung blinked. "So, insane asylum patients? Like those crazies from before?" Lu Xin nodded. "Pretty much, though there is more to it. Don't just write me off as some clueless sheep, okay? Honestly, I've barely even met anyone with amnesia, but last time I left the city, I spotted this one guy, and before I could blink, a wild gecko totally flattened him." Lu Xin thought it over and spoke up. "All right, looks like we can get out of here now. I'm off." Uncle De Shuang cut in. "Whoa, hold up, bro. If you're the pro who handles this crazy stuff, then Uncle De Shuang hesitated. "Can we hire you to check out a patient?" He blinked. "A patient? Who?" De Shuang leaned in, whisper quiet. "Ever heard of something called head swapping?" He emphasized every single word. Cruising down the road, Lu Xin kept chewing on Da Shuang's words. Head swapping? For real? Especially for a crew hauling gear between these high-walled cities lost deep in the dangerous wilderness. These two dudes are seasoned drivers in the convoy. The older guy is Da Shuang, and the young kid is Xiao Mao. But instead of giving details about the weird contamination, they kept things vague. Lu Xin realized this bizarre head-swapping thing directly involved their big boss, the head of the whole transport crew. He kept chewing on it. Yep, if he wanted to uncover what was actually going down, he would have to meet this mysterious big boss face to face. Sighing in relief, he relaxed. Whew, finally out of that damn spooky maze and back to base. Inside the truck, old Chu yelled a secret code to calm the edgy crowd outside. "Go up the mountain to hunt tigers. Heaven King covers Earth Tiger." Lu Xin facepalmed. What kind of weird ritual is this? As the truck rolled forward, a guard jumped out of the bushes, shouting, "Who goes there?" De Shuang waved him off. "Relax, he's a buddy from Qinggang." He added, "Damn it, you guys have no clue what we just hit out there. Real ghost activity. If this young bro hadn't saved us, we would be hanging from a tree right now. He is heading to the city center too, so we are traveling together and looking out for each other. Don't stress, I'll handle the boss myself when we get there." The guard scoffed. "The boss? Oh, you are toast, man. She is absolutely furious. You two delayed this run, so prepare for the worst. Let's see if she lets you keep your heads." De Shuang mumbled, Yeah, I'm gonna see her now." As the truck slowly ground to a halt, Lu Xin looked around, blown away by how massive this convoy actually was. A woman marched over from a distance. De Shuang grinned. "Yo, boss, check out the sweet loot I brought back for you." She snapped instantly. "You absolute bastard, you actually had the guts to show your face back here?" This was Tao Ting, the boss. She arrogantly sneered. "All you do is obsess over this hot garbage. If real trouble hits, do you think anyone is looking to you?" She stepped up and smacked him. "If our delivery is late, that's on you. Are you going to take the blame?" De Shuang ducked out of the way, squealing. "It was an emergency. We would have been back hours ago. Look, I got you this sweet peace offering. See, not even broken." Watching this train wreck, Lu Xin muttered, "What is this soap opera?" De Shuang finally stopped and cleared his throat. "Also, boss, I got someone to introduce." He pointed at Lu Xin. "This brother is heading to the city center for work, so we decided to let him tag along. Can he ride with us? We just got totally lost in the woods, and we only survived because this guy from Qinggang saved our butts. Otherwise, those ghosts would have had us for dinner." Lu Xin stepped forward, politely saying, "Hey there, I'm Lu Xin, heading to the city center to visit family." Cao Ting eyed him suspiciously. "You traveling completely solo all the way from Qinggang to the city center?" Lu Xin shook his head. "Actually, no. My dad, mom, sister, and puppy are all with me. We are visiting family and delivering some papers. But they are just not here right now." De Shuang and Xiao Mao exchanged terrified, blank stares, whispering, "What is this guy even talking about?" Cao Ting sighed. "Separated from your family? Look, since we're all surviving in this wild wasteland, we should help each other. But don't get it twisted. We're just simple folks working hard for cash. We don't cause drama, and we don't fear it either. You want a ride? Don't start any trouble." Lu Xin nodded. "Understood." She turned on her heel to leave. "All right, old Chu, teach him our convoy rules. You got it, boss." Once she left, De Shuang whispered to him, "Notice anything weird about her?" Lu Xin raised an eyebrow. "The boss? Is something wrong with her?" De Shuang sighed. "I suspect it, heck. Almost everyone here suspects it. Our leader had her head swapped. Or, to put it another way, she got a completely new body. Look at it like this. Her brain is still hers, but her body belongs to someone else." Lu Xin stood up, scratching his head. "Her brain is hers, but her body isn't? What does that even mean? Seriously, should I just go over and take a look?" De Shuang panicked. "No way, man. She will beat you to a pulp. Just wait a bit, you'll see." De Shuang blew out the oil lamp, plunging the room into silence. Lu Xin whispered in the dark, "What's going on?" De Shuang gestured. "Shh, get over here and look. She's starting to act up again." Confused, Lu Xin asked, "What kind of episode?" De Shuang whispered, "Every single night she's hunting for a guy to sleep with." "Look, Mr. Lu, I'm telling you this because I genuinely want you to help her. Our boss is actually a great person. Her husband was the one who built up this convoy, but after he died, she took over everything. She's young and beautiful. Before, plenty of creeps lusted after her and tried to make a move, but they all got dealt with. We knew she was loyal to her late man and had no interest in anyone else. But after our last delivery run, everything changed. By day, she's still the same honest, hardworking boss we always knew. But when night falls, she drags guys from the crew into her bed. Literally every single man in the convoy has been touched by her." Lu Xin was stunned. "What the actual hell?" Xiao Mao whispered, "It's true, bro. You better watch your back. The way the boss was staring at you earlier, it wasn't right." He groaned. "It is a massive headache. We cannot wrap our minds around it. How does an elegant lady suddenly turn into a ravenous she-wolf overnight? You don't know the half of it. Once she locks you in, she goes completely feral. I've seen some wild stuff in the wasteland, but she's on another level." Lu Xin pondered. "A sudden personality shift is definitely suspicious. But how does this connect to head swapping?" Outside the door, quiet footsteps crept closer. The guys frantically gestured to shut up. Cao Ting's voice cut through the dark. "You guys asleep yet?" They froze in sheer terror. She barked, "Cut the act! Send out that pretty boy you brought back today. If you won't, then all three of you are coming into my bed." Da Shuang panicked. Boss, he literally saved our lives." "Maybe we could." In the back, Lu Xin frowned. Something felt seriously wrong here. Outside, Cao Ting growled. "Excuse me?" De Shuang stood up heroically. "Fine, let me sacrifice myself." Xiao Mao grabbed him, crying, "No, uncle, let me go instead. At least I'm young." The two started sobbing. "No, you're too young to protect yourself. Uncle, you must stay safe. Auntie and the kids are waiting for you at home. Don't bring up your aunt right now." Watching this melodrama, Lu Xin sighed. "All right, I will go." Da Shuang stammered. "Wait, really?" Xiao Mao warned. "Big brother Lu, don't play hero. You will regret this." Lu Xin muttered, "I just think she is seriously abnormal." He stepped outside. "Where to?" Cao Ting smiled seductively. "Just you? What's the rush, handsome? You hit the jackpot tonight." She pointed. "Follow me." Walking behind her, Lu Xin analyzed her. She indeed felt different now, but there was no spiritual monster clinging to her. That meant her contamination source was either locked inside her body, just like how Xu Xiao Xiao got contaminated by that cursed oil painting, or she herself was an awakened mutant harboring malicious intent. Either way, Lu Xin knew this situation was highly volatile. This threat wasn't aimed at him, but at the innocent folks in this convoy. Duking it out with a mutant always causes massive collateral damage, which would really suck. Thankfully, his entire ghostly family was already on site. As his sister and the dog manifested nearby, he realized that if this girl's contamination matched that cursed oil painting, his special glasses might cure her, since they originally came from that exact same painting. Besides, wearing these glasses meant his family could feel his stress. He knew that the second things hit the fan, they would gladly step in and help him handle the mess. Cao Din threw the door open and stripped right in front of him, laughing. He stared right through her back and confirmed there was no psychic monster there. He couldn't verify if her head had been swapped, but Cao Din just lay there and purred. "Get over here." He sighed. "For what? Stop playing dumb. Tell me what you really want." With her clothes scattered all over the floor, she smirked. "My purpose? Isn't it obvious?" Lu Xin ran a quick scan and muttered, "Well, the pollution data is literally at 0. He recalled his mom checking earlier. She only saw a normal, healthy red aura rising. Lu Xin frowned and cut his power. Something felt off. Yet Cao Din kept begging, Hurry up, get over here. His mom teased, "Ah, my boy is all grown up," while Shishi covered her eyes.